Levels Network. I'm Justin Horo, joined by the Triple OG Willie Mason. Running the fans through captain's run yesterday. I've seen that.
It's beautiful.
The bro Lukey Stowe is just adjusting the camera for Triple OG, and then he's going to get back in the Melbourne field to see himself.
I think you saw me run through the warm up and the experience that I give to some of the sponsors.
The Triple OG experience.
It would have been freezing. It started raining. It was windy as hell. These poor they had some young kids out there. They would have been freezing their asses off, but they were so engaged in what was going on and everything. So I tried to keep talking and trying to keep the energy up because I knew.
I seen when I looked down at one point, you had about 8 with you, and then there was a whole heap of them on the sideline.
Yeah, there's a few.
And then they might not have maybe heard you originally, and then they all started filtering around when you were behind them when they were doing some catch passes.
Yeah. Because
it's a cool experience,
right?
People,
it's
mate.
different. People get there, and I just said, look, we're not going to be there. We're going to get around and watch whatever we can. So some people just get that experience on the sideline. They can't go past the LEDs, right?
Yep.
And
you got the VIPs with you.
Obviously, with mine, you're like fucking full access.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's good. So it's it just goes from from the start all the way through the finish. We're about 2 minutes behind them all the time.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it was great. It was good. It was good. Plus getting the win. So
all right. You got the win.
Got the win. So what does that mean?
We had a bet.
We got a bet.
And I'm very proud to wear this too. Before I chuck on this Dogs jersey, very proud of the Parramatta Eels for both games. I'm wearing this jersey with pride because of the effort that Parramatta have put in the last 2 games.
Yep. No worries. Here it is.
No worries.
No worries. This is a beauty.
How good's that?
2004 playing jersey, number 11.
Fuck, that's
Grand
awesome.
Final winning jerseys.
All right, give it here.
We never lost in that jersey that year. Never.
Never lost. Here we go. This is
Oh, look at that. Didn't lose a game in that, the away strip. And only back then we only had we only had 2 strips, I think. Maybe 3. The one with the stripes around. How
does that look?
Pants. That's good, man.
And you know what? We're not going to lose a podcast in this game either.
Nah, never.
Undefeated.
We never do.
Still undefeated.
But this is the evolution evolution of the jersey, right? Button it up, yeah.
Button it up.
They started getting a little bit tapered on the side. Like if I was going to give you a 2002 one, it would have been fucking massive. Now, 02 salary cap year was beautiful.
This is awesome. Triple A.
It's all right, isn't it?
A little bit of goosebumps. Maybe is that cold or is it just I'm feeling the energy?
It's the energy.
04.
04 energy, that was.
Yep, a bet's a bet, mate. The Bulldogs won. We'll dress that right at the end. And club footy for sure. But let's get into the Origin teams, mate. 100%. Some huge news. And I just said, save it. You were asking a question. Lukey was asking a question. We still don't know exactly what it's going to look like for Queensland because Billy, just being Billy in Queensland, they like to just take their time.
Yeah.
They haven't named a 1 to 17, but we've got the 20-man squad, mate.
Yep.
4 new faces. Kurt Catewell from the Wars. Corey Horsburgh.
The Bra's
we,
back
we
in.
called for the Bra. Are we expecting the Bra to be a part of the 17? For sure.
Surely.
You don't call him in and then not put him in the 17, right?
You're not in there for just team morale.
Yeah.
The Bra's he's going to give you none, I reckon. He just wants to play.
For sure. Jack Howarth from the Melbourne Storm.
That's for experience, I think.
Yeah, I think so. And the wild card. Yeah. My ma'am, your ma'am.
He's back.
Ezra Mam. But the big one. Let's start with my mate DCE. It's the biggest news out of any of the selections for sure. We anticipated it. It wouldn't have been a decision that I would have made, but I also fully understand where they're going. Considering age, considering losing the series, considering lose on the back of 3 losses in a row, I wouldn't have done it. But it's a huge decision, and that's why. You get paid the big bucks, Billy Slater.
Billy's never lost game 1.
I didn't know that.
He's never lost game 1.
There you go.
So this means pressure.
Yeah, for sure.
Pressure is on Bill, and he needs to fucking win. You know what I mean? Like everyone's going, oh, I see Billy looks like he's panicking a little bit. Yeah, it's called pressure. Everybody comes under it. He's one of the greatest players of all time, let alone one of the greatest Origin players of all time. All he wants to do is fucking win.
He's used to winning,
He's used to win. He don't lose. He don't lose in that fashion that he did in game 1, right? And even last year in game 2, getting pumped down in Melbourne, all these little things, man. He hates that. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, he should be under pressure. It shows that he fucking cares. What would you be like if Bill's in a press conference going, yeah, we'll do this, yeah, he's going to drop him, DCE, I'll change this. You'd be like, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. So what do you want him to act like, media? Like all just depressed and distorted and he's rattled and everything all happy, just going, making a few changes. It's only game 2. The series is only on the line. That's all. Here's the team. Fuck off. I'm going to go into camp now. See what happens in Perth. No, he cares.
It's the one part of the year where people, if you give someone an inch, they're going to take a mile. So people are willing to, he's let them in the door, and now the New South Wales ex-players, media, they want to kick the door down.
They're all coming in, mate.
The pick and stick,
of course,
and all that. That's
petty. It's petty.
Yeah.
It is petty. Like I'm hearing even I'm an ex-New South Wales player, right? Yeah. Pick and stick. They pick and stuck back in that era because they won 8 in a row and they won what? Like just say 12 from 13, like you have to pick and stick because they did the job for you.
Yeah.
This team is not as dominant, so therefore you're going to have to chop and change like we did throughout that era. Yeah. How many 7s were after Andrew Johns? Yeah. How many 6s were after that? 7 and 6 combination.
There was a
fucking Google that and try and tell me how many from 2007 to 2000 and fucking now. How many 6s and 7 combinations and how many have Queensland had?
Yeah,
they had Darren Lockyer and JT for 8 to 10 years, and then Cooper Cronk to JT, and then they had fucking DCE to Cooper Cronk to fucking Munster. It has been nothing but all-star, all-pro, top echelon fucking guns all the time. Now their forwards come back to the pack. I would say our forwards are a little bit more dominant than those guys. They need a little bit of help. They've tried to get some help for Big Tino in there.
Yeah.
But this is what happens. The pick and stick is petty. It's low-hanging fruit.
But that's what Queensland used to say about New South Wales back in the day. So that's why New South Wales is so keen.
I get it. But I'm like, it's just a little bit petty, right?
Do you want to hear the stat?
Yeah, I want to hear the stat.
How many do you think, though? Throw a ballpark.
15.
So just before we go on to it, I remember Piercy got consecutive series for a while, and then he was under the pump for a while, and they kept on changing the 6.
Because we didn't have a 7.
Yeah.
Ready?
Because, right?
But let's have a listen to it.
Over the 19-year period, 27 halves combinations.
How many for Queensland?
Queensland, comparison with Queensland, they have
9.
Come on, chat. Nothing. I haven't got the exact answer.
Get it up.
But is that Chat GBT too?
It is, but
is
it's
that
giving me actual.
GBT?
You got Maloney and Cleary, Walker and Cleary, Keary and Cleary, Luai and Cleary, White and Cleary, Moses and Walker, Luai and Moses, Cleary and Moses. Yeah. That's
so the difference between that, we're sort of going back. I'm more going back to the series, right?
I'm going back to 2006.
Yeah, the series, the 8 in a row.
Yeah,
and that was when there was so many changes.
6 to 14.
I think the main reason for a lot of the changes over the last couple of years has been injuries, just because Nath missed so much.
Yeah.
So Nath would have been the halfback for the last 5 years if fit, and then they would have, and potentially could have been between who was going to be the 6 with him. But yeah, so Tommy Dearden is more than likely going to play 7.
Yeah.
I guess the next big question is who captains?
Yeah. Yes. So you got Harry Grant, you got Paddy Carrigan, you got Tino's been thrown up, and you got Munster.
Yep.
Who would you give it to?
Probably
take your whole mate. Just because I know when we're friends with a lot of these guys, take that all away and just go simple. Leadership. Who can get Queensland over? Who has the most respect?
My initial pick would be Harry, but also I don't want Harry playing 80 minutes. So then
I'm money. Sorry, I'm done.
Yeah.
That's 80-minute man there.
Yeah.
Put it all on his shoulders. He's a father now. It ain't the money from 3 or 4 years ago. This is a different human.
Yeah.
Right. He's on the comeback trail. He wants to dominate Origin. He can do that. And if I was coach, and I think Billy knows his boys better than anyone, fucking have it, Munster, and take it, and get us to a decider.
I would honestly really consider Paddy Carrigan would be my other option, because Tino's not going to play 80. No, that's not in his game. Paddy can play 80. Whether you want him to play 80 or not, that's ideal. But at worst, he's only going to get 5 or 10 minutes. I know we go back to when he was thrust into the captaincy early on.
Yeah,
he's 5 or 6 years into his NRL career now, Paddy, and he's not the captain at the Broncos, but he's a good shout if Reynolds eventually moves on.
It's up to those two.
I think it is. I think it is.
And I think they got it. I don't know. I think Munster. He's a 6. He's a born leader. They love him up there. He's the most. I think he's up there. Nearly probably the most capped in that team, up there, at the moment with that young team in there.
Yeah.
He would be. I would look at him. Just say if I didn't know who was captain, I'd be like Munster's captain.
Yeah.
Regardless if he runs out first or not, he's the captain. You don't have to run out first to be captain.
100%.
That's what I mean. So fucking give it to him.
Okay.
Give it to him. Give him that responsibility, right? I know it got taken off him a few, you had a few little indiscretions off the field, everything like that, but everyone makes mistakes and he's grown and he's shown everybody he's capable of doing that. He's down in Melbourne. He's fucking league. He's got everything, mate.
To be fair, we love him. He comes on here, he does the show with us as well. The heroics in 2020 are now 4 or 5 years removed.
Yeah, he needs another.
He missed last season. He was okay. He's like everyone else in that team, struggled in game 1. Hasn't quite had those moments. This could be something that could really spark him.
Yeah. He just needs to get, as I said, back to game 1. The defence from New South Wales, they squashed DCE. They put pressure on Harry Grant. You know what I mean? Harry Grant needs a big game.
Huge game.
Huge game for those tonight. And then middles need a big game. We'll break the game down further on Thursday, but this is a team that can... They can win a game. I'm not one of these ex-players that go, it's not as good as New South Wales. They shouldn't. I've seen plenty of Queensland sides that look way less talented than us and have fucking got the job done.
Yeah, find a way
quite easily.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go out there. Even Gal saying the worst fucking Queensland team in the history of the game.
Speaking of Gal,
yeah.
So Birdie's just writing in that group chat I was showing you on the way home from yesterday. There's been crickets in it, and now Birdie's starting to wig out. So for context,
what's fucking Birdie doing?
We're in a fantasy group chat, and it's got Money, Ches, Hainesy's in there as well, and Birdie's carrying on with that pick and stick chat.
Oh, fuck, lead roll. He's going to roll with it.
Ches has only just got fucking dropped from the team, and the boy's like,
in 10 years.
A little bit early, Birdie. And now last night he's going, I'm only cheering up because no one was responding. You know when it gets awkward and
keep going.
No one replies. So I called him Chief Wiggum this morning. But
oh, shit.
Yeah.
Ezra Mam
or Kurt Man. Who's your man?
Ooh,
who's your man?
Who's our man? Look, Kurt Mann's been playing some good. He helped his chances yesterday, right? He played outstanding.
Little try assist.
But if Ezra Mam, if you can be that guy who plays 14, right, and Harry just has a little spell after 30 minutes and he comes on at hooker or anywhere and speeds that ruck up, because he's lightning.
He scares you more than
He scares me more than Kurt.
Yeah.
I know, and I think just his speed and everything like that, and he can absolutely blast that ruck if the forwards are getting that ascendancy through the middle.
Yep.
And he defends really good. I know out wide he tends to misread sometimes. I think his defense has gotten better, but when he's in the middle, you run straight at him, he's gonna get you.
Yep.
He'll lick you. You know what I mean? So I think if you could put him at 9 or anywhere, 6, 7, fullback, if he's that guy, he could easily slip into that. Mead's a New South Wales player. I don't want Ezra Mam playing.
Okay. I'm expecting Kurt.
I think Kurt deserves it.
Yeah.
But I think the longer they probably sit on it, they're probably thinking about it like we're thinking about it now. What sort of, where do we get Harry a rest? Who goes on? Does Kurt Mann go on at hooker?
That's the reason. I think, I would be more comfortable if I'm Queensland and seeing the results and the stats with Harry off the bench. And I know it would be, crazy if they did it. But Kurt Mann could go on and weather the storm for 20 minutes at dummy half and then bring Harry on if they decided to change that. Ezra couldn't.
How's the fucking ball skills, but
you don't need it for the first 20 mates. It's weather the storm tackle.
I know, but it's not going to be little dink and dunks around the ruck, mate. You're going to get pumped.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You want to throw that mad ball. If Carrigan wants a ball, a 20-metre dart out the back, you know what I mean? Harry's like that.
Yeah. But do you think you can do that early in the game? It's what you worry about with.
Harry can do that, yeah. Harry.
No. As in, you don't get to play that footy until the 25-minute mark anyway. Yeah. For the first bit, it's just bang, 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 bang,
that's
bang.
Sort of old. That's a bit old school, right? They can. It's up to the middles how far they want from the ruck.
Yeah.
If you want to just be off the front and just get to B and C and just jam it through and settle it down.
Explain that. So the depth, the width.
So the depth and width, just say with most guys like Fodawaker, he don't want the ball more than 5 metres.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He just wants
wider
a ball.
catch.
Yeah, he doesn't. But you don't want to get hit by the markers, but you just want to get it A and B and try and find that little gap, try and find your front.
Yep.
Where a guy like Tino can get the ball he could start at B and C, and he's got footwork. He'll move out with the ball.
How much wider is that than probably Mo?
Probably
like
5
7
meters.
Yeah.
So he's at 10. He's at 7 to 10.
Yep.
But he might say, "I'm going out, Harry." So he starts here, then boom, he'll catch the ball near Lukey, right, or a little bit closer, right. So it's about 12 meters. Then you're at like 3-man straight away. That's where he likes to get at nicely, right.
Yep.
Carrigan's the same. Carrigan likes getting the ball really wide. So you all and someone just running a little bit of a block and Carrigan out the back and all these little things, or Carrigan get the ball and he gets that block shape.
Yep.
So he gets one-on-one. That's when Carrigan's at his best. Like when they put him at lock on the weekend, when he got those really wide balls and he found that little gap, then boom, then little flick pass. That's not running at A and B and C, because he's not big and he's not Payne Haas.
Yeah.
Right? He's probably 110 kilos. He's a fucking gun.
It's funny the mentality of the jersey made.
Yeah,
him,
but you get him at the 4-man and at the C-man and the 4-man, and even bringing in that 3-man a little bit. He's got footwork and he's big enough to get through, right? And then that little flick pass, and then or he can go out the back. Like, he's got that skill set, so they can fucking play that in the first minute if they want. It's a high risk, but I mean, like sometimes you can get that ball. Payne Haas gets that fucking ball all the time. I don't want Payne you don't want to get hit by markers in Origin first up, because you get fucking pumped, right? Because marker gets you around the legs, boom, boom,
bang,
boom.
bang.
You are on the back. You have to catch at B and C minimum.
Yep.
Yeah, so like that's why with the New South Wales, will have a look at that team. They've got a very mobile forward pack, right?
Yep.
Max Kin even gets the ball wide. He's been running those lines pretty well now. Payne Haas, Stefano. It's all about that. You can get away from the ruck.
We called for, speaking of getting away from the ruck, we called for a bit of mongrel. I think if you're calling in a guy like Corey Horsburgh and even Kurt Capewell, probably expecting Kurt to play for sure.
Where?
He'll be that cover guy off the bench for him.
Really? So you'd have Kurt Capewell and a Mam, one of the Mams, Ezra or Kurt.
Yep.
And then who's your two benches? You're going to have Fodawaker and...
Probably should have made the makeup of the team, but I reckon...
And Ruben Cotter or Lindsay?
Could you see the bra jumping a guy like Lindsay Collins potentially, or Mo Fodawaker?
I need fucking someone to come out of that shed and try and tear everyone's fucking head off legally, right? Obviously, you can't be stupid like they did where they were in the first 5 minutes. I think Lindsay Collins, because he's a bigger body. Yep. He's a bigger body, and he's had a couple of games under his belt now. He only had one. He had 28 minutes, and then he played Origin. Give him a break. When he's going all right? Yep. So I'd probably start Lindsay just to take those hits. And Horsburgh's got a higher skill set, right? He's all right. But if you just told him, get the ball, don't even think about passing, right?
Yeah.
You can be damaging. Wind up. You can do a bit of damage, mate, and just be fucking extra fiery in the middle. Like, get in Payne Haas's face. Get in like fucking Max King's fucking grill.
Liam Martin.
Get in, because no one did that.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, if you don't have some sort of, I know it's hard to have an enforcer when you're like, you've got to go at it and you can really punch on and just fucking fuck them up. Like, can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
There's other ways to enforce, and it's just like
you got to step
hits.
out.
You got to start fucking chirping at scrums. You got to start doing all this sort of stuff, like, and really show them that you're not fucking like submissive, right?
Yeah.
I saw I'm not saying they were submissive, but they weren't like, when you're getting a beat down in the forwards, it's fucking hard to chirp up at a scrum.
Yeah.
When you're getting fucking 60 rolled on you every set.
Under fatigue.
Yeah. You get no ball. All you are is doing kick chase, all that sort of stuff. So I need one of these. Queensland need that. That's why they brought the bra in. He needs to be super hyper aggressive, but not stupid.
Yeah.
Because he got it in him. He's got red hair. Right?
They've always got it.
And the bra's he's got it in him. But
the only one I didn't know who's got red, Tommy Simons, good friend of ours.
Tommy Simons,
no mongrel. Zero mongrel.
I thought he was just flip. Shane Shackleton, nutcase, right?
Lunatic.
Mick Neal. No. So Tommy Simons and Mick Neal, they're all cut from the same cloth.
Working class Bondi, me mate. That's his tag.
That's his problem.
Working class Bondi.
If that's his problem. If he was brought out in Toronto West, he would have been different.
Luke, you had a question before. What did I say?
Sorry, what if Tommy Simons was brought up in the Druid?
No. So I told you we used to take the piss out. We all take the piss out of him because he reckons he's working class Bondi.
Shut up.
We go. There is no such thing, mate. If you're growing up in Bondi, you're not working class. Everyone in Bondi is fucking.
From before the show when you were like,
Yeah. What was it?
no, it was. Is this to spark the Spencer Emsra?
Oh yeah, that was a good
situation.
question, my man.
Fucking like that. What, to get the boys fired up for Ezra? Because Ezra ain't going to fucking touch Spencer.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like that's what I mean. Like
I wouldn't mind it if fucking it'd be good fucking TV.
It'd be good TV.
It'd be good if you're talking about ratings and you want to see that sort of shit and Ezra comes on and then Spencer comes on at the same time.
Hey, I'm not getting carried away here, and he's got his defensive deficiencies. But if you run straight at Ezra,
No, I told you, I said that.
Ezra can lick you.
No. I said if he's in the middle,
Yep.
he's protected.
Yeah.
Like you put him 3 wide, you got 3 in or 2 in. Like
He makes Paul Reed sometimes.
Paul Reed.
That's different.
No, he's a fucking hitter.
Yeah.
He can hit.
Yeah.
He just makes Paul Reed's at numbers.
Yeah.
In the middle, you are protected by markers. You stick in an A or B. You've got fucking Lindsay Collins around you and Tino. You're going, what? Come on, come at me, right? He's going to go boom. Tino's going to hit high. That's what you want. You want a little 9 who can, he can fucking get you. I said that before. I said if he's at 9, that's the deal. He
He'll
can
do a
hit.
job. Yeah.
Give me 10 minutes of fury.
Yeah.
Just quick play the ball, fucking run. Just like Wingy used to do.
Yeah.
Fucking bang. Bedsy come off, go mad.
He
He's
can play
got
that
Wingy written all over him.
Yeah, okay. That's huge rap too.
Yeah,
How much you think of-
Wingy was one of the best fucking Origin players off the bench. Him and Kirk Gidley.
He sort of like the role that we see with Connor Watson and what you're thinking now, like he started it, right?
22 years ago. And it's still very relevant for that 9 because the 9 just gets worked.
And before that too, remember it was only 2 interchanges and unlimited interchange. So like hookers
so the 9 could just be...
Yeah, could just play forever, couldn't they? Or
Yeah.
they swapped in and off all the time.
That's when Gowie and that could play 9. Joey played 9.
Yep.
Do you remember Joey
Yeah.
played 9? Kamali played 7. It was all just about just getting a lot of attack. Do you know what I mean? Like just attack, just flat and fast. Hey, as it could be, if the more I talk about it, the more I don't want him to play.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get to the New South Wales team. And the only real change is it's been forced. Mitchie Barnett, ACL out for the season. Your man, Maxi King, he gets promoted in the starting lineup. And Stefano Uto Ikamanu, he's on the bench. That was probably expected because he's a part of the squad. Not overly happy with that selection. You would have gone Keon.
I just like Keon because of his versatility and the way that he's been playing. He's been playing better than Stefano. Stefano can play, man, no doubt.
Yeah.
But it's very one-dimensional.
Yeah.
He just plays in the middle, right? So what are we talking here?
The more you think about it, though, right? If you're looking at this team, although
it works,
you're hesitant to declare New South Wales better because you're worried about a Queensland response, right? And that's fair.
Yeah. We're better than them on paper.
Yes.
But as I said, I've seen a fucking us better on paper and get pumped.
Yeah.
I don't really care about us winning game one. I don't really care. It's all gone. That's a totally different team, different mindset. This is a whole fucking different animal, this game too.
We'll see what I'm getting to. I feel like Stefano's a safe pick. As in, he's going to come on, he's going to give you 20, 25 minutes. He's going to have his hit-ups. He's going to get a spell. Whereas like Keon, I feel like if there was, drama throughout the game, then he could come on and have an impact. Like he gives you more versatility, gives you more options.
Yeah,
but I think New South Wales are looking at this going, we feel good about where we are.
I have no problem with Stefano in the team. Yeah. All I was talking about was how versatile Keon is.
Yep.
And the way that he's been playing. Yeah. He's been playing. He's been one of the best players in the last month.
Yeah, agreed.
And I just think only because he can play left and right edge, but then I look at it and go, Huddy Young can play both edges as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So Huddy Young's that guy. And then Stefano's your big boy, him and Spence, and the other guys can just fucking speed the ruck up. So it's a good pick. Stefano's playing good football, but he's just not playing as good as Keon. That's all.
Matty Burton, 18th man.
What?
Campbell Grant. Do you think he'll get released? No, probably not. Not this time. No, he won't. That hurts for the Dogs on the weekend.
Is that the bye?
He gives they're playing against South.
We've already had 2 buys.
Yeah, playing against South, yeah.
The other
So,
one with
come
the
on,
extended
Loz.
squad was Hamole pulled out because his wife's pregnant.
Yes, so Hamole is he's got his second child due during that period. So if you're not going to be part of the team, I guess, making that decision, again,
It's
the last one, number 20, Lindsay Smith, still nowhere to be seen. Terrell May. He's not even.
No.
This year's with Laurie last week. Apparently.
Yeah, I know, but that
must have gone well.
No, I mean it's just a write-off. I think Laurie would have had a chat to him and just go, these are things you need to work on in your game and off the field. And then if you continue to work on that and work on yourself and everything, you'll be fucking in there. Don't worry about it, mate. You know what I mean? Like, and he goes, okay. I think that would have been the chat.
Okay.
I reckon that's just fair enough. He would have gave him his time, and then that's what I said before. When you go through a little bit of shit, you just want to know what your problem is. What can I fucking do to get better as a person, and then get picked in these fucking sides?
Yeah.
Because that's what you play for. You play to win premierships, to play Origin, play for your country. That's it.
Maybe he was the first guest on the new May podcast, Laurie Daly.
Oh yeah, the boys got a podcast going too.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of potties going around.
The vlogs are pumping too.
Spencer's going vlog
Spencer's
crazy
killing
as well.
it. Yeah, Spencer's killing it.
I want to see Spence get some more time. I'd love that.
It's not really in his game, is it?
Nah.
Like, did you see Gordy was arguing with him last week about the kickoff stuff, and he's just like, play matey then.
Oh, so what Gordy said was that his thing?
Yeah. Gordy's like, and they're like, come breaking that. And it was all New South Wales too against Gordy. And
Gordy's
I
not
think
backing down.
It was Hooper and who's the other one? Maybe Riccio.
Yeah.
And they're like, he doesn't play 80. What are you going on about? And he goes, come on, you talk him up about the kickoff. We take him off the first kickoff. He goes, much, and then.
I'd fucking near start Spencer sometimes. Like, just say if you gave him 10 minutes of fury, right? Like he can, because he can start games now.
He doesn't start well though.
We started against fucking us.
But he still had 3 errors.
Yeah, I know.
He knocked 2 people out, but he had 3 errors in that game. He's got he just can't because I reckon he feels like he has to do too much when he starts.
Yeah,
because he's fresh.
Yeah. Well, it's not about being fresh. It's the mindset. It's like, all right, I've been promoted here. Now I got to show that I can, because he wants to be a starter. No one wants to be a bench player, even though he's got mad impact. He's been brought to the Roosters as like a marquee signing 2 years ago. I think he was supposed to take over from Jared. So whenever he gets an opportunity at the Roosters, he just goes fucking ballistic. Too far. And he tries to offload and he makes errors. Yeah.
just needs to think, okay, I can go as hard as I can, but I need to play the ball. Yeah. That's part of the game.
Yeah.
I can't make a mistake.
Yeah. All right. Well,
We'll keep an eye on the squad. It is 8:12, so I'm hoping it's 9 a.m. I'm trying to get some mail here behind the scenes, so we'll see how we go.
Okay. All right, mates. The Levels Golf Day is on again this year. We are stoked to be partnering up with Imagine. They did such a great job of sorting it for us last year. So the dates are Thursday, the 2nd of October. It's grand final week, similar to what it was last year. The day after the Dally M, so all the boys are in town. We're running it back at Concord Golf Course. They loved it. They loved having all the boys there. And the course is the Mickey, the way they looked after us, the feed, everything was immaculate. And it's a members only course. So you can't play this.
Golf course.
Yeah, it was so good. The goal for this year is to have 18 holes sponsored. Last year we had 12. 8 out of the 12 have recommitted already, 100%. We're having conversations with the other 4. So we currently have, depending on how those conversations go with the sponsors from last year for the holes, we currently have 10 holes available. Shout out to our major sponsor, Brett Henley, aka Knuckles, Country Trucker Caps.
Get some of those caps on that day.
The activations that they had, our man Kempy and Grumpy Coffee, they were a part of it last year. Luke Burgess and Well Street and Loan Option. So what all of those brands did and businesses did, they had an activation on the hole. Loan Options had a really good one. They had the closest to the pin for 2K.
Yep.
2K cash. So someone walked away with 2K cash on the day, and they even had 10K if someone was to get a hole in one. And I bring up Loan Options and Julian and the team because not only did they take advantage of the day of having NRL players roll through and have 2 players with them that played with people from their business. Mate, they promoted it for about 3 months on their social media. So that's the access, that's the advertisement, that's some of the stuff that you can use on social media. Had a chat to the boys. So this year it's a little bit different. Last year we had all the teams represented. It's a little bit problematic headed into grand final week with obviously the 2 teams not being there and trying to organise it. I had to do a lot of work really late to get the roster going. This time I'm doing it different. I've just got star power. I've got about 35 to 40 boys locked in, committed.
Locked in already?
I want to make this clear for all the boys when I mention these names, their priority is to win the grand final.
Yes.
And that's why it's problematic to I guess, advertise it as we get closer. Everyone wants to make the grand final. If not, we're going to put on a great golf day with representation from 15 teams, but a roster full of guys like Latrell, who was there last year, obviously Ches, KP, Moses, and plenty more. So we've got not only star power, good golfers, and you've seen the roster last year. We've got the socials. Lukey will have pictures and also the hype reel from last year. So if you would like to be involved this year, we're just going to start off with sponsorship to get the 10 remaining holes. Hit us up at partner@levelsnetwork.com.au and look forward to chatting to you and then seeing you later in the year, Mace, because it was a cracker.
That's a fucking good day. We'll have a lot of sponsors, I reckon.
Yeah.
A lot.
And we'll have to.
And I'll have my new clubs.
You got, yeah. Have you got? Do you know? I know. Look,
I've got to go up tailor-made soon.
When you get fitted,
yeah,
because they got to send them away to the factory and then they get them all sized up.
It takes like 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, it takes a while. Yeah, it takes a while. So
I got time.
Okay, you got time. So that'll leave.
It's not like I'm itching to get on the course, mate.
So that'll leave you up until I dare say.
I get it.
You have about eight weeks.
Yeah,
8 weeks of preparation minimum.
Yeah,
minimum.
You'll just see me down at the fucking, just smacking them.
While we're at it, before we get to our
the driving range,
driving range. Hey, you know what I want to give a shout out to, by the way, as well, boys? Going from the Levels Golf Day to the Levels Run Club.
Yes.
Shout out to our man Nick Boyle.
Yeah.
King. Has he told you about his journey, Lukey? And you'll love this as well, mate. So remember the big fella who Mace would walk with at the start of the Run Club when we do the Run Club? Yeah. So he is the guy who runs Taronga Zoo.
CEO, Nelly CEO. CEO. I see it, yeah.
So I was chatting to him with Steve about the Dubbo Zoo, your cousin's partner. And then we got back and we're going back and forward with a conversation about, going to the zoo and visiting the zoo and all that. And then we just started texting about his journey. So he goes, he wanted to let me know that thanks to the Run Club, he was reflecting on it today, could barely finish the 5 kilometres when he first started, right? Yeah. He now does a couple of 5K runs during the week and sometimes up on the weekend, 15 to 22K. Jeez. He's also been training with his 13-year-old for his zone cross country. And he just sent me, this is on Strava as well, so no porkies. He ran 8 kilometres on the weekend at a clip of 4:52.
Jesus.
That's cool, mate.
Flying.
That's awesome. So
he's a good man. He looked after me and the family and Les and that. We come down to Taronga Zoo and he goes, mate, because remember I used to walk with him. We used to have a chat about footy and just, I was just saying, what do you do? He goes, he asked me, he goes, you have kids? I said, yeah. He goes, do they like animals? And she's fucking oath, they love animals, He goes, I sort of run, he was very modest. I sort of, work at Taronga Zoo. He's like fucking one-off CEO.
Yeah, he's the big
fucking runs the joint, right? Hooked us all up, fed seals and fucking like snakes and whatever it was, like just everything, right? All access, man. He was like, because Les's little couple of these boys just loved it, mate. I reckon I did about 48,000 steps that day. It was and he's such a good dude, and he was busy as hell, right? But he's still stuck with us. I said, mate, I know you're busy, mate. Go do your thing, man. Our kids are just going to go crazy. So he's a legend. But well done on that. So that's awesome. What happens. A little bit of a community that we built there. Yeah. I think we need to. I know it's cold. It's probably not the right time to start it again. It's very hard. But
for me, it was the radio commitment.
Yeah, I know. But I think we need to sort of start something because it's little stories like that.
City to Surf, we've got the High Rocks and stuff coming up as well.
I know that. But that's why I wanted Levels Run Club. We were getting fucking big numbers there.
Yeah.
People loved it, man.
We got to about 25 on one of them, 25 to 30. And, it's just
timing, guys. Everyone's we're all pretty busy. And it's like, do we do it Saturday morning? You got Saturday morning radio, right?
I did. Not anymore. But
so maybe we could do it.
It's still like that's your morning off. Almost.
It's my one.
It's like a family, and we all and both of us prioritize our families and stuff like that first. And it's like it's got to really work in. It's not like we can go all right every Thursday morning or Wednesday, whatever. It just can't happen. It's fucking. And then these guys need timing as well.
Yep.
So
Red Bull hooked us up with tickets for the City of Surf, and I've got a couple of spare spots. I'm going to give one to Nick.
When are we doing that? When's that?
I'm going to give one to Nick. So
Yeah.
we'll get him along with us for sure. And I might even reach out
100%.
to a couple of the guys that were. I know there are a couple of guys that were there for all of them, and then we've got a couple of spots for some ex-NRL players like Louis. Louis will probably do it. I had a chat to him the other day.
Louis Brand's a beast, mate.
He's an animal. But yeah, mate, I just wanted to give him a shout out because, and I asked him too. I said, mate, do you mind if I?
He's a good man.
You want to make sure that when you give these sort of shout outs. But you've got a bigger shout out because you're Red Bull OG Bull.
Yeah.
He is now the most capped Canberra Raiders player of all time.
Yeah, I can't go past Big Papa, mate. What he did, what he's done, like to play in the middle, 319 games now. And just the way that he played, and then finishing it off with 2 tries. Like how fitting was that? You know what I mean? Down there, it was a pretty hard game. It was against South, and he's just you can see how much he's so beloved down there, right? The way that they just treat him and the all this chants and everything like that. And now the way that the players, I really watched how the players sort of really get around him and just love everything, especially when he was scoring those tries. And Ricky Stewart, like he was in fucking tears,
Yeah.
man. Ricky's a very passionate man, but he's a very emotional human too. And when he fucking loves you, he'll go to the end of the earth for you.
He loves hard.
Yeah, he does it. And then on the opposite end,
Yeah, hates hard.
hates hard.
Hates harder.
He hates harder than he loves. But at the end of the day, he's fucking very loyal, sticky, and he loves Big Pup. And when you see that, just that moment, right? I watched that and went, wow. Fuck, he's the fucking proper OG, my OG Red Bull fucking man of the fucking week. He was an animal. I remember one time when I first come back from France, right? And I went signed with the Knights and we played Canberra. Young MILF, young Papa.
Yeah.
Never didn't really play. I mean, my tenure back in from 2000, 2010, I think he hit the scene about 10, 11, 12, yeah, whatever.
I got a story on him as
fucking
well.
went fucking left side of the ruck. I think he was playing right edge.
He was playing edge back right to start.
Yeah, fucking boom. I was like, holy shit, who is this kid?
Yeah.
And it was him. I was like, okay, Mark, don't run at him again.
So I used to have this sneaky
Footwork
good
at
little
him.
combination with Fui. Fui had a really underrated nice tip on him.
Yeah, he did.
And so I used to just come off the bench, and every now and again, I made one clean break one time, and then a couple of times just legs tackles.
Yeah.
Because
Which is a win.
three or four defenders go towards Fui. Big Papa didn't fall for it one day in Canberra. That was like, he was only at pup too because he'd only just started. That was my welcome to first grade moment.
Yeah.
That was my first hit where I went, ooh, that's a different level. That's a different level.
And I hit him, and it was just
Right in the mudders.
Both just, and he's lower too, right? He hit me fucking right here. Didn't hit me on my back, but sort of pushed me back. We went, oh, fuck off, mate. I said, good hit. But what he's done, 319 games. I think he'll end up with, depends how long he wants to play. If he wants to play next year, 330, 340, 20, his first ballot Hall of Famer in my eyes. He's been one of the best props in the game, right? He's and the human that he is as well.
Mate. So we had the Levels Golf Day. We talked about it before. He was there last year, him and Geordie Rups.
Yeah, had a good time.
I say this all the time. The hand-eye translates to goal kicking. How sweet did he hit that?
Sweet did he hit that goal?
Beautiful.
And the goal kick to just top it off as well. Easy.
Did you see Ricky's like,
Yeah. It was just great moments down there. And it was -4. It
Yeah.
was so cold. And
I
they
called
went out
the
there.
game, Mace. I was down there. It was fucking freezing.
Yeah, right.
So I called both games, the Bulldogs and Parra game, and then we had that game on Sunday. Mate, we're about to talk about crowds and all that stuff with Adam O'Brien coming up. But Canberra to turn up for one of their favourite sons. And
Sell out? Yeah.
It sold out, but not everyone turned up because it was, mate, I think it was 3 degrees. It felt like minus.
Yeah, they said that was
And
minus
I was sitting
on
in the
field.
box with the heat on the entire
You
game.
went to Canberra.
I went to Canberra to call the
he
game.
drove.
Yeah.
Down the M5. Fucking
Bang, bang, and we'll, like, mate, I was hitting the window in celebration
Yeah.
for Papa on the first one and even harder on the second one. We had all Canberra Raiders fans in there. Everyone's on their feet. It was awesome. I had goosebumps at the time. It was mad. I even had the pleasure of interviewing Jason Croker before the game. Tootsie.
Old school Toots. Fuck, what a man. What a man.
Were you there for the 10-year anniversary in France when they come over, when Tootsie come
I
over?
think so. No.
So they had we had this
don't
big
think I hung with
function
him.
for the 10-year anniversary.
Yeah, I did. I was.
Yeah. Anyway, so he couldn't have been prouder to hand. He's had
Justin Murphy and all that.
Yeah. He's had the record for about 10 or 15 years now, and he couldn't think of a better person to hand it down to. Sticky also said, and he's like not with no emotion, he's taken emotion out of it. He considers Papa one of the 5 greatest players to play for the Raiders, and that says a lot. Considering
Meninga.
So he mentioned Mel, he mentioned Laurie, he mentioned Clyde, and he mentioned who was the last one?
Mullins.
Glenn
okay.
Lazarus.
Yeah.
Glenn Lazarus.
Good shout. And then probably Ricky's there.
Yeah, that's what Matty John said after the game.
Ricky's there, and then Papa's 6.
Well, Ricky doesn't consider himself, and look, that's the sort of guy Ricky is. Big Papa. That's a huge rap because he still hasn't won a comp there yet.
No.
Fuck, I hope they win the comp for this year.
Canberra won.
I would love a Shane Webke like send out for we got it in the last year.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome. I'm low key rooting for the Raiders just for Big Papa. So yeah, good.
What
shout,
an effort, man. He was good.
All right, Scopes Youngbuck, Milky Jenkins.
Oh, Milky Jenkins.
How about Milky Jenkins?
Fuck. What a story.
All right, let me get the stats.
What a story.
First. Let me get the stats because we just went story time with Big Papa reservedly. So at the different, it's the these are the stories that I love.
Yeah.
The perseverance, the different, like not to say that Big Papa hasn't persevered, but this is a proper good story. But let's start with the stats. I know you're not a big stats guy, but these are pretty good, mate.
Yeah, they're good runs.
22 for 250.
Shit.
5 line breaks. And 12 tackle breaks.
Milky Jenkins?
Milky!
Put him in the Blues team.
3 tries. 3 tries. So, one of the best stories of the year, and Ivan mentioned it after the game. So, this is the part I love. He debuts at Penrith in 2023. Dom Young moves on from the Newcastle Knights. They recruit him. He goes up to Newcastle and he plays 4 or 5 games on the out. Round 7, he doesn't play another game. So, not only does he not get another game at Newcastle Knights, he does not have a contract for this year. He doesn't have a contract. So what does he do? He goes to Ron Massey, St. Mary's, which is, for those who aren't aware of what Ron Massey is, it is below New South Wales Cup.
Yep.
His goal was, he said to Ivan, was to play 1 New South Wales Cup game after playing first grade the year before and only being 23, 24 years old or whatever it is.
Because he's probably thinking they just won the comp, who cares?
I love it. It shows humility.
Yeah.
Like a guy that's, played 5 games at Penrith in 2023, another 5 or so at Newcastle. Nothing's given. You got to earn it.
Yeah.
It's a big tick for the club as well too, Ivan, for rewarding and giving him the opportunity because he's had a punt on himself. Ivan knows about him. He's been in the system before. But the favourite part I loved about the game, the story's awesome. The stats are awesome. The second try. So after he scores the first try, that was nice. Made a couple of line breaks. Should have scored maybe 5. He was that close on a couple. But Taruva, he scores on him after Milky Jenkins scores the first one.
Yeah.
Hits him with the fucking claw.
Him.
Like it's not directly at Milky Jenkins, but it's like in the vicinity. Romy comes over. He starts letting all the left edge know about it. So the ex-Penrith boys are chirping up, right?
He's in a blaze, wasn't he?
It's the young edge, Casey McLean.
McLean.
It was the whole
young
game.
ones that he just like.
Yeah. So he's letting all those boys. That might have been the first one off the kick around Stafford Tyres. Sorry, but
fucking had a good game.
Yeah. He's a good player. Anyway, so the claw, Tigers have got the lead. Milky Jenkins gets an opportunity. There's a little bit of space, or he can go straight through to Ruva. Went straight through the chest. Booshk. Straight through him. Left hand out and scores the second try. They're going to score.
Stronger than you think.
Mate.
They're underestimating the milk.
Mate.
Don't underestimate the milk.
The milk.
The milk.
Oh.
Strong.
Yeah, so I love the story. I love the game. I love the theatre. I love the
stats. What? They're mental.
12 tackle breaks.
Fucking 5 line breaks.
Mate, imagine if before the game you said you've got Milky Jenkins and Brian Toto.
Who's going to have better stats?
So and you go that stat line, you go 100% Brian Toto. Milky.
Crack this for the OGs.
Yeah, crack
this for the OGs.
No, not the OG. This is my young buck.
And the young buck and the OG. Well done.
Well, that's the new one. I should have that one. Here, swap around. There we go.
There's your little milk one.
Yeah, see, this is the new one. This is the iced vanilla berry, and you got the OG. There we go. Cheers.
Because people always ask what flavour that one is.
So now they know. Oh, that's beautiful. Iced vanilla Vanilla.
Vanilla, yeah, it's vanilla milk.
Milky.
It's for Milky. It's the Milky Jenkins winter edition. Already one game. Sponoed.
How good's that?
Nah, it was good, man.
They sponsor Penrith too, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. The Milky.
They're everywhere,
Milky
man.
Jenkins edition. That's what it's
Yeah.
called.
OG Red Bull just reminds me of the 2000s.
Yeah. It's good times.
It's a good time. Oh,
What about
it's
your
a good times.
Your Bulldog with the V8 supercar at training doing the tug of war. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, it's on their socials. They had a V8 down at Belmore, it looked like, I think. And they had to play tug of war with the V8 supercar.
Well, okay. I told Alex the other day, I said, get me doing some crazy shit, man. Something.
Yeah. We'll get
I
to
just
that.
can't fit. He goes, you can't fit in anything. You're too heavy. You're too tall and too heavy for a V8 car. You can't sit in the plane with what's his name?
Matty
Hughes.
No, not Hill.
Hall.
Matty Hall.
Matty
Matty
Hall.
Hall. He goes, your weight will probably crash, so I don't want to die. Right? I said, is there anything I could just sit in on? Right?
Wakeboarding for you?
Fuck, mate. I don't know. Being
Too
something
cold for
fast. I'm all for that shit. He goes, we'll figure something out. I'll drive the supercar. No way.
Let's go to story time. Let's get to the replies from the weekend. So we're talking about the Turbo incident. Missing the games and where they're at with him. This one comes from Lorenzo Predicts. Does Willie remember anything from playing in Turbo's debut? Crazy he was at Manly for that. Tom obviously got a double.
Yeah.
It was at Albury Wodonga.
100%.
Do you remember it?
Yes, I do.
So here's my memory of it, and then because I
Scored on the right-hand side.
he scored 2.
Yeah, but his first one was in the right-hand side.
So I remember we were struggling at the time. We had a crisis meeting and a huge piss up.
Yeah.
But I can't actually remember the
I
game.
remember the game. I remember him scoring and us just getting fucking pumped. And Geordie Rapiner just being so strong. I was like, where the fuck is this? What is this guy?
Yeah. Josh Hodgson first arrived too.
They were good. They gave it to us.
Yeah. That's when they sort of just like
This is when I thought this is going to be a fucking long year.
yeah.
But Turbo, I remember he scored. It was like on the right-hand side. We got to the middle, I think. Because I think I played the ball. And then boom, block shape. And then I think Snake gave him the last pass.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, he started off in the wing.
Yeah.
Fuck, that was a good night, eh? Do you remember how loose that was?
Constant.
And then
It's
I remember
2015.
Yeah.
Talking like it's fucking 40 years ago.
Yeah, I know. But because we was going like we had this like mad crisis meeting about we're struggling and all this sort of stuff, and then typical like OG times. And this is not even OG, but we were the last of the Mohicans.
Yeah,
we were
it was.
OG sort of group, and like led by Snake and Killer. And all right, boys, after we addressed everything, let's have a fucking beer together. And then it fucking turned it into how good. I love it.
I love it.
All right, let's get to Lukey Met.
Oh, yeah.
He is, by the way, the response off the back of Mace changing the way he perceives where the Warriors and Lukey met at were the feedback when, and look, you don't always want to be wrong, like, and you don't force it, but if you get a mistake and then you own up to it, or you're accountable because and this is what I said to you before in the clip, if you take accountability, the others don't do it.
Nah.
Like the mainstream and that, they don't
just
do
stick to it.
Whether, and I'm not throwing stones at, and this has always been my biggest grievance, because you know how much I love my NFL and NBA. Like guys
Skip
over there
Bayless.
watching Skip, watching
Johnny
Stephen A.
Mansell.
Smith, and then like they're committed to a take that they can't admit it. So when you get the opportunity to go, all right, sit back and go, fuck, he's got us here.
He's a gun.
He's killing it, and he has got the Player of the Month for May.
Oh, he got
Lukey
it.
Met.
Okay.
He beat out Keon and he beat out Teddy, who had really good months. It was a highly contested month. So he had 5 games, mate. He had 4 tries. He had 3 try assists, 1 field goal, which was a game winner too against the Dragons, 5 line breaks, 3 forced dropouts, 14 tackle breaks, and like we said, the average 87 run meters for a half. So he's still got that part in his game.
Mate. And on the weekend, he would have fucking put some points up as well.
Yeah,
Against
which
Cronulla.
game was that? The
Cronulla
Cronulla game. Yeah.
Jesus.
We'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah.
Chanel's really
He's
good.
just
as well.
got it. Like, he's got everything now. Like, he kicks mad. He's an unbelievable defender. He's a general in the middle. This is what I thought he didn't have. Because I don't think
Same.
I don't think that he's ever had the chance to showcase his skills.
Yeah.
because he was fucked around at Cronulla. He got put. He was fucking around until Sean Johnson retired. So they're like, what position is he? He's a 6. He can run. He can play fullback, 6, halfback, whatever it is. Now it's like, no, you're a 7. He's like, okay, well, I'll play like a 7 because I'll probably am a natural 7.
Well, see,
Right?
so you come out and said it, and you like sometimes you got no filter, and you just go, rah, and I fully agreed with you.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was the guy
Because he didn't show us.
I didn't think he had this long-term 7 in him. He's flipped the narrative for me as well.
Crazy.
And you got to remember, 2 years ago when the Warriors were killing it wasn't until he got injured at the back end of the season. And I know he's playing a different role. He's playing 6 outside Shawnee, but last year missed a whole heap of games again.
Yeah, he's key. He's key.
He seems to be the key.
He's the key.
He seems to be the key, isn't he? Because
I like him.
Yeah, he's playing well. All right, the presses are back. For sure, you've seen this, and
I didn't see it. I don't want to watch this.
you haven't seen it,
I didn't see it, no.
didn't you?
What, the Adam O'Brien one?
Yeah.
Fuck, he's bad enough to listen to.
We
let
had
alone-
to do it back-to-back. Morning depressor
He
as
did
well.
the morning.
Oh,
press
didn't
conference.
he? Didn't he? I saw little things that he said Newcastle people don't know footy or some shit.
Yeah. So let me go
Don't
through it.
fucking ever say that, mate.
Okay.
Ever.
Okay. So, Knights coach Adam O'Brien has apologised for comments made following Thursday night's remarkable comeback win over the Seagulls, where he suggested that the fans who booed his team don't know anything about rugby league.
Oh, you can't say that.
Yep. So, Mace, and this is where you like. So you haven't seen it. It's a
No, I saw that little bit, right?
yeah,
But
so
I didn't watch it.
I seen the
live.
entirety. I knew exactly what he was talking about, and then once he sort of he tried to explain it, they were always going to grab
That bit, yeah.
He's trying to stick up for his players. He's 100% missed the mark.
come out
Had to
wrong.
apologise
It's come
for
out
it.
wrong.
For me, it's the worst oppressor since Kevy declared last year that they were going to make the finals with Dolphins up next week. They needed to win 2 games, and they needed results to go their other way with the Dragons to make it right. But they had the Dolphins next week with Wayne. So Kev, like that was.
Stop it.
I remember that just going. But and for me, it's I take the piss out of it, but it's. The presses are the perfect example of why I watch them and how they are important. If you have any ambitions of being a first grade coach, you have to be aware of the media, the presses, and all of that stuff, because everyone wants to do a presser and interview when you win them. Like when you get invited to, Fox or 9 or 7 and you're traveling and you won 3 in a row, everyone loves that. And everyone can talk sweet because you're not getting the hard questions. You have to be prepared going into it. And that's the part he said he missed the mark with. And he took full accountability for it the next day, right?
You fucking have to.
But I found it funny too in this. Have you watched it, Lukey?
I only saw like the cut.
Yeah, so
Not the
he starts
exhausted
talking about someone asked him the question about the booing, and he was talking about the young players, and Kalen's sitting there nodding next to him, because I always watch the body language of both the coach and the captain to see if they're in sync, and that's why I love Critter and Ciro. They're always thinking the same thing. Fisher, Harris, Webster, same thing. Fish was just nodding. Anyway, so he's talking about the young guys and all that, and then he starts building into it, and Kalen's like, yeah, young players, good game. And then he goes, those fans who booed, they don't know rugby league. And then they'll the guys booing and they'll probably clapping us at the end. And Kalen went from nodding to going,
Oh, why'd you say that for?
no one's mentioned that. It was the funniest part of what he said. And then you can see him, and it must be hard. Don't get me wrong. I'm taking the piss out of him, but fuck. He's all these things, and I think he's starting to realise what he's just said. And he talks about, we've got a young playing group and all this sort of stuff, and he was trying to protect the players. But
You just keep that inside your head. That was one of those ones.
Well,
like, he might be thinking it of course you'd be filthy. Like you'd be filthy on, with those supporters booing you off,
For
right?
sure.
But that's part of the game. When you put up dog shit like that, you fucking deserve to get booed off.
But here's the thing. I don't think that there's probably more fans that are booing him than actually the players.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, and that's what I mean. He needs to know what's going on. If he thinks he's liked in Newcastle, I was just up in Newcastle on the weekend, right? Keith Barry Oval, like the young little juniors, my little nephews played out there. Like every night supporter
They would have been off him after the weekend for sure.
Off him, but like regardless, like because it was in Toronto, like Keith Barry going, "Oh, you're gonna get the stadium named after you?"
Oh,
I said, "No fucking way." I said, "I don't want it. Have a look at it. It's about to fall down." Anyway, so a lot of even Luai was up there. Jerome Luai was up there. Yeah.
Jerome was there.
Jerome was there because a lot of Sydney kids. It's a big competition, right? I don't. Anyway, I sponsor fucking Les's, my little nephew's team. So we fucking every single supporter come up there. We're just like, how do you think of the Newcastle? I said, they're just not playing good. This and that. Fucking coach, this is. They just dislike him, right? Because they just want, they probably want Danny Medeiros to come in and coach, to be honest, because he's one of us, right? Newcastle people stick together. If you can get Bedsy just to be the head coach and just come out and go, yeah, I'll get it, and then have like Blake Green and a few other people just around him, I think they'd be a lot happier with that.
Interesting.
I was speaking to Joey about it. I said, we're like, get Bedsy to coach. Like he's coached before. He's so highly respected.
Does he have ambitions to coach?
Well, he's one of the assistants. He runs a blue shirt and everything.
But everyone loves being assistant.
I know.
Everyone loves
I think he can just be Danny Medeiros, right? And he can – the team could be going shit like they're going now, and there's no way that they would ever say anything about Danny Medeiros. No one. Because what he's –
The one thing – I know, mate. You know Newcastle better than me. Yeah. I know coaching and I know fan bases. Yeah. When you fucking lose, you go on a street.
A little bit. It's not as much hatred.
I wouldn't want that to put that on Danny. Where it gets to the point where he's a favourite son. Yeah. And then the fans start turning on him because of
I get that. But I understand that. But I'm like, I think the players would probably put more in. It's just like they're off about 5 to 10%. And it looks like it's like a reflection of the coach. It looks like that. We'll get into that game later. But it's just like if Bedsy was the coach, he had really good people around him and he was just the mouthpiece and just like the head of that club, head coach. Like people would be happier, right? You still like the game plans and everything. It's not changing that much, like it's just, you just got to pay. The worst thing is you got to pay this dude $2 million.
So here's my thing. It's Thursday nights are the one presser because I watch a lot of the pressers the next day normally because I like, as everyone knows who's been watching the show, that's a part of how I prep for the show and I like to get little bits. But Thursday normally is the one that I watch straight after. So I watched it straight after because they get it out pretty quickly now. So I'll be watching Maddie's show with
cut to it.
Yeah, and no, so just say Maddie's show comes on after. Within about 15 minutes, you get the presses coming out, and I'd got it even before they'd showed it on Maddie. So I'm watching it going, holy shit.
Would you get on KO or something?
Yeah, they put it on YouTube. Go straight to YouTube. Jeez. So I'm sitting there watching, and I was like, fuck, that's heavy. I was like, fuck, I've got to stay and watch Maddie now. And Maddie was furious.
Yeah, man.
Maddie said at the bet, like
anyone from fucking Newcastle, I just went, even when I heard, I went, oh, you fuckwit.
Yeah, so Maddie did like, he was diplomatic and it was short, but he stuck up for the fans and you could tell it was like really bothered him. And I imagine they would, to the point where initially when I was watching, I was like, man, does this guy want to get sacked? That was my first thought.
Exactly.
That was my first thought.
Is he thinking? Does he know where he is? Like, does he know the fan base and the people up there what Newcastle people are like? They fucking love those Knights players, man. They are held on fucking pedestals up there.
There are strong fan bases. Don't get me wrong. There are strong fan bases. Parramatta, strong club. Brisbane, strong club.
Different up there, bro.
I would argue probably Knights and Bulldogs fans.
Yeah.
Other fan bases where like you say something like that, even though he's and like, from this is me, I'm looking at going, fuck, he fucked up. He's made a mistake. He's walked it back. I understand where he was trying to go with it, but also I know what fucking fans are like. They're like, nah, he's done.
Yeah,
he's done.
Yeah, and that would have happened. They would have. Yeah, if they finish bottom 4, which I'm pretty predicting they are. The Knights, he's got to go.
When you have a bad take, should he have not had the foresight to like immediately, effectively retract it and go, look, more definitively.
Yeah. So
just say, look, the fan base they don't understand football. What I mean by that is
he meant a small portion of the fans, but really he didn't even realise. And I don't know if you hear it sometimes because someone was saying to me, who was saying to me this morning? Oh, you were telling me they were booing Foxy yesterday at the game.
Our boys were booing him.
I can't hear that. I didn't hear that.
It was all over the broadcast.
Okay, so
every time we got the ball, Paul Fox.
So this is where you give him a pass, right? Maybe he doesn't hear it and he's unprepared and he's gone into it. And I've always said this, right? What do I say about Kevy last year about someone in the media or an assistant coach going, this is what we're expecting should be said, like be prepared for it. And I'm even though I've been critical of him, like I understood where he was trying to go with it and he was trying to protect the playing group and all that. For sure, he missed the mark.
I get what he's trying to say, but you just don't.
Yeah.
Right? Especially when you put up a half like that, just the fucking least you got booed. Who cares? You deserve to get booed.
Yeah.
It's not like you put on the best performance of the whole year and you're getting booed off for a couple of drop balls. No, they don't do that, Newcastle supporters. Do you remember a year, I think 2007 or 8, something like that, where they lost like fucking 15 or 16 games in a row, and the Newcastle fans got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until they won. That's what the fan base is like. They don't when you're losing, they don't dwindle away. They get stronger, Newcastle. So to support their players so much, like you deserve to get booed off. Like we got booed. Newcastle played us in 2023. We got fucking booed off. But that's what happens when these fans know when you're not fucking putting in, and that's when you get booed. You can go out there and go as hard as you can, and it's fucking 30-0 or 30-6. They still understand. They still know you're ripping in as hard as you can. When you're not, you're fucking ripping in like you should be for that jersey. They fucking boo you off. Any club. Like if they see a performance like that, they don't give a fuck, mate. It's like they see your efforts and your efforts aren't good enough for that club and that jersey. And that's why clubs boo you off. Right? That's the full stop.
I'll give you an example. We watched the Bulldogs versus Parramatta Eels. You're a Parramatta Eels fan. They got beaten 30-12. Are you proud of the Parramatta Eels yesterday
100%.
for the effort they put in?
Yeah. But like the back half, we sort of made too many errors.
That's the difference.
You understand exactly
but you know the effort was there, right?
That's the difference, right? You know, that's the difference where you're like, fuck, Parra's having a dig here. They're having a dig. No one would have booed them off.
They've only got 3 wins this year too. Like it's a great example.
We're on the exact same amount of points as Newcastle, I believe.
Ooh.
That's bad, isn't it?
What was my last point with it before we moved?
Boo! I'll boo Parra. I was booing Parra in the chairman's lounge. Boo! You know what I was thinking? I was sitting with the CEO and the chairman and all that. I said, I got a lot riding on this fucking game. Yeah. I said, I do not want to wear a fucking Parra jersey tomorrow. I said, that's all I'm fucking screaming for the Bulldogs because it was tight. Yeah. It was 12-all for a while. I was like, get a fucking try, end this, end it.
The reason
then you got the text message, remember?
Yeah, the reason I wanted
I'll bring the jersey tomorrow, son.
The reason I wanted to win the bet was like, I've got no issue wearing the Bulldogs, but I know you would hate wearing the Parramatta jersey.
I said, it would kill my soul. I said, I can't have this. I spoke to Ciro before the game. I said, I got a bet. He goes, I know. I said, they've got to win for me. Don't worry about the 2 points.
Well, there you go, Doggies fans. They did it for me.
They didn't know. It was good. It was good talk. I went because I barely go into the sheds, right? And it was just before I did the experience with the sponsors and everything like that. Just the vibe in the sheds, man. It was like that's a winning culture that they've built there. Compared to 2023, there's only I think about 4 players left from that whole side, and it's Max King, I think Kicks. Presto, Max King. Even speaking of Max King, remember I said about like my take on the Origin thing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was right.
Confirmed?
I was right.
Confirmed.
He goes.
Well, now the Queenslanders.
But he was a fucking gun yesterday.
No, Max King. No, I said about it wasn't about how easy it was. He's like the level of how to train and how to play.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like. You know?
Yeah.
He's like, I get it, right? He goes, I get it because I come back as a better player and I know the levels that like Payne Haas gets to, right? Like how he approaches everything, how he does this, how Crichton and Liam Martin and Isaiah Yeo and all these guys that have been around. He's like, oh, fuck. And he's brought that back to training. And then he
brought it to the game.
I was going to say, he brought it to the training and then he brought it to the game, right? Which I said, that's what's going to happen, right? As I said before, like when you go to that level, you come back, you feel like a fucking god, right? And when you fucking play good at that level, you're like, no one's going to fucking touch me, right? Max King is a good defender, but he ain't no fucking Victor Radley hitter.
I've never seen that.
He ain't no hitter. He's a hitter now. You run at fucking Max King's going to put you on your back.
I wouldn't say he's a hitter.
No, he's a hitter. He's a proper hitter.
I love
Don't fuck
Maxi.
with him.
Hey, that's I need to see 3 times before I declare
I want to see
him
him
a hitter.
fucking pump Tino, then he's a hitter.
Sean Russell had a fucking well of a game. That's one of the best games I've seen from Sean Russell as well. He pumped Sean Russell, but I need to see it on a forward and I need to see it multiple times before I declare him a hitter.
He's a hitter. Straight up hitter.
All right, let's
Straight up killer, Max King is.
All right, let's get to Mel Meninga. He's been confirmed. Mason, why don't you spend a little bit of time on this? Because there's so many more, I guess, pieces of the puzzle that need to at least be discussed with the CEO and Mel. So he has been announced as the Perth Bears' inaugural coach for the 18th expansion team in 2027. He beat out Kevy, he beat out Brad Arthur, and even Sammy Burgess over at Warrington was another name tossed up. Do you like the signing, mate?
I like the signing because Mal Meninga is Mal Meninga, right? He's a massive name. He's been around the game. He's still involved in the game. He's fortunate enough to coach, arguably, like since 2006, Queensland and Australia. He probably can count on one hand how many times he's lost. You know what I mean? Like he's an absolute winner, but he's fucking Mal Meninga. You need, if you're starting a franchise,
especially
right?
in Perth.
You're starting a brand new franchise where the demographic is all AFL and everything like that, but they know fucking Mal Meninga.
They know Immortals.
Right? They know Immortals. So he's going to be over there, and I think he's going to be over there for maybe the first 2 or 3 years. And then he's going to have maybe a Brad Arthur will be an assistant coach, right? Maybe a Kevy could be an assistant coach and then take over while they build that. And then he can attract players, right? Because he's had the greats underneath him for the last, 10 years in Australian teams, and he's got that rapport with them. And do you know what I mean? So I think it's a great move from the NRL. So he's fucking $1 million, Mal. Just be Mal Meninga. Yeah. Right? He ain't doing game plans and all that sort of shit. He's just Mal. You want to play for Mal? He's got that Wayne Bennett sort of factor, right? I know he coached, everyone says, he coached in 2001. And, that was fucking at the end of Canberra's dominance, right? Yeah. They're all retired. Ricky's left and Loz is on his last legs, and they were all done, right? And that was when I first was coming up. And Canberra were coming to the end, right? And then they had to rebuild. Then Mal got sacked and all that kind of stuff, and he was doing whatever. Then Queensland, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, it's a great pick because he's going to get players, right? That's all you want. And you need a fucking guy like Mal Meninga to be at the head of things like that. It's like getting Wayne Bennett. If you can't get Wayne Bennett, you got to get someone like Mal Meninga.
So the name that's been tossed up that makes a lot of sense, Mel spent a lot of time at Gold Coast as part of, I wouldn't even know his role. He's like an ambassador, like a mentor sort of. Justin Holbrook.
Yeah.
Is the assistant coach at the Roosters.
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
And they got a relationship. So he looks like the ideal candidate, and he would be very hands-on, attack-focused. Yeah. You bring in a guy like Justin Holbrook to be the assistant coach.
Defensive player.
With the thought process of him eventually being the coach after Mel in a couple of years.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, you just need Mal as the head guy there. He's Mal Meninga, bring some players over. And that's it. Like, there's no better person to take that job. It's not like you can get, as I said, you can't get like a fucking Craig Bellamy or some of those big coaches, right? Or Wayne Bennett would be perfect for a new franchise. And Mel, like he's been coaching rep teams. Yeah. It's a bit different for 27 rounds and everything like that. So he'll probably get a bit of a shock there, but I think they're paying him well.
So when Wayne went up there, he took the GOAT, what's his name?
Peter O'Sullivan, recruitment.
No, the players. I'm talking players. So what players?
Oh, Mark Nichols and that, like journeyman guys.
Journeyman guys. What are is there Titans players that
he's trying to get Tino?
They've obviously got a lot of dramas in the halves.
Apparently Tino can get out of his contract whenever he wants. He's got that clause,
the finals clause or something like that.
Something like that. So he'll be on the hit list. Pay him $1.5 million straight away.
Well, the big name now that everyone's attached to Mel because of the relationship again and getting the best out of him is Dave Fafita.
That's what I mean. You're gonna so just say you get a David Fafita. There's going to be a plethora of players off contract, that want to play in the NRL, right? They still want to play. Who gives a fuck if it's in Perth, right? Travel. It's NRL. You travel. Gives a shit. It's part of the game. Logistics wise, who cares? Like, you just got to deal with it. When the New Guinea side comes in, you got to deal with it, right? What's the other choice? Go play overseas then. You want to play NRL? You fucking sign up and you just deal with it. It's about being a professional, but Mal Meninga, perfect man for the job. You're not there He's not there for, as I said, like to do game plans and all that kind of shit. And he's always been. People think that they've just brought him out of nowhere. He's the Australian coach. He understands what's going on. Like he's going to bring all these assistants in and everything like that. Like obviously, you're not playing with the best players. You're not coaching the best players like you have been with Origin and with the Australian team. They fucking pretty much coach themselves. Now you might, he's just going to have to do a little bit more.
One of our fans. So we've obviously got a lot of Kiwi fans who've been frustrated with Mel, the selection, the Australia and all that sort of stuff, and the glass houses chat about like representation for Origin and then not for the Kiwis and stuff. I think someone threw up like Mel had that run with Queensland and then he jumped off just as they all retired, and then he's had a great run with Australia, and now he's jumped off just as Tonga and Samoa emerging.
Yeah,
it's like a real fucking sneaky dig at Mel.
Smart, mate.
Yeah, but it's
if he's thought that. If he's
Australia nowhere near going to be as dominant as they were 2 or 3 years ago, even though we've had different teams that have been thereabouts in finals, and New Zealand have won a pack champs.
What about they were saying at the end of the year, because he's a coach for 2027, they come in, don't they?
Yes.
Like he shouldn't be able to go on the Kangaroo tour this year.
Yeah,
that's bullshit.
It's done.
He's coming?
No, he's done. He's
so they're going to put Freddie in there?
It's not confirmed yet. Freddie, Cam Smith, and Kevy. There's chat. Actually, I was going to say,
Freddie was straight in.
Well, so here's my thing. I reckon Cam Smith said that he would be open to it, and Cam Smith has always shot down coaching. Like whenever anyone's asked him, so Cam Smith better than me. If he's willing to put himself out there, I dare say he would probably think that he must be a huge chance.
Yeah,
do you think to declare that you're open to it?
I thought Freddie would be coach. I think he wants to coach as well. Cam Smith could be like assistant or something like that. I don't know because Cam Smith hasn't coached at all. He's just been involved in a few camps and here and there, and just been Cam Smith.
I know, like they work for 9 together, but you know what Queensland and New South Wales like. If Freddie gets it, he's going to want a New South Wales assistant coach.
No, I was just joking. Freddie ain't going to be.
And if Cam gets Freddie, it, he ain't fucking have
is Gal going to be his fucking assistant? No, it'd be interesting.
So petty, you fucking like New South Wales and Queensland.
It's like the history from back in that era.
Yeah, it's hatred, mate.
If Cam's the coach, they yippee yah Ewan or whatever.
Oh yeah, they changed that shit. That's what Gal has fucking started hating everyone.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I got that funny story. Anthony Watmo told me a story about how one of the New South Wales boys started singing it. I won't throw him under the bus because it's not my fucking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So they were singing it, and there was like fucking 13 Queenslanders, and it was like Gal, Birdie, and
Whitemouth
and Chalk and oh fuck. I better not say too much because I'm out of school. It's not my story.
Don't say it.
Yeah, it's out of school. Let's get to the Knights, 26, defeating the Manly Seagulls, 22. Mace, big win considering they started, the 2 starting front rows are out, then Frizz first set.
Yeah.
The forwards were getting dominated early. Shout out to the rookies that Adam O'Brien was alluding to. I thought McEwen was pretty good. And Celesa, Leo Moana.
There was 9 local juniors in that team, which is fucking outstanding. Can I just say, this is probably one of the lowest games I've ever watched for a while. Like, I've never seen the Knights play as bad. And then equally in the second half, the Eagles. Like, fuck, what happened?
You know who's the biggest beneficiary of Adam O'Brien that I was going to say before? Siebes is just gone. No one's talking about Siebes. Siebes had a 22-0 lead or Manly on that. Like Ches, Siebes, all the Manly players, because of Adam O'Brien.
Yeah, they've let the Eagles slide because the stats that the Knights put up in the first half, the Eagles nearly matched it in the second.
Just quickly. This is the last little thing. Did radio on Friday as well. And this Knights fan called in who was furious. He goes, he's fucking Adam O'Brien's blowing up about us booing. It's the best halftime speech that Adam O'Brien's had all season, us booing. The fans booing got him home.
And that would have inspired him.
Yeah.
It would have. Like, just say getting booed off. Like, I think it's happened a couple of times. I think in 2001 we got booed off at halftime. With the Dogs.
You played 2001? Oh, the Bulldogs got booed off.
Bulldogs, yeah. We were playing Canberra. I think Canberra, and back then, if it was 18-0 or something, it was you're going to get pumped.
That was a big scoreline back then.
Yeah. it was just like getting spoon, getting thrown. Yeah, that was easy. That we could boo that and fucking things thrown at us and shit like that. Fucking ruthless, our fans.
So you were pretty ruthless in the group chat with James Schiller. Let me finish. Let me finish. It's up there with. It's on par with our man Kentucky Derby.
Yeah,
and his rough night.
A bad.
It was a bad night to the point where, like, I was going, fuck. Credit to Schiller for continuing to go after it. I was like, he's either got to get hooked, or two, he's just got to tuck the ball under the wing and just start carrying it.
Yeah.
When I have not rooted, and I'm fucking going for Manly, I wanted him to score that try so bad in the corner just because I felt so sorry for him.
He ended up setting the one that tied the game up.
Back on the inside. So he had, this is his stat line, 5 errors and 2 penalties. And I don't think that even includes. So you know when he went down with about 10 minutes to go, he had that bullet pass on the inside. He gets knocked down.
Yeah.
Fletcher Sharp knocks it on.
Yeah. He was just involved in a lot. Like even when Hamoli scored that try, he bumps him off. Then he went again and bumped him off again. He was just having an off night. Everything was bad. I think he was sort of in the clear one time and someone comes behind him and hits the ball and knocks it on. I'm just like,
so yes,
that was bad.
That's when I started thinking, get down. So he went bump, bump 2 people off. And I'm like, all right, fucking take your medicine. You're having a sea of a night.
Yeah.
Like, take your medicine, go down. He gets the ball knocked down. I'm like, fuck, I could see that coming from a mile away.
Yeah.
But credit to him.
Yeah, he ended up, that was one of the worst performances, but he ended up sticking to it and he ended up getting, setting that try up for the.
So the two worst performances of the year are him and Kentucky Derby. Neither of them had a loss to, by the way.
Yes.
They win.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys and Panthers drew the game. Despite fucking the wingers playing as bad as they did.
Sometimes they just, that was, hopefully this week he plays a little bit better, or he might be in reserve grade. Who knows?
I'll tell you what, I love. From the first time I seen him, Fletcher Hunt. They're exactly the same too. By the way, the Fletchers. The part about him, and the reason they stand out is effort. It's evident.
Yeah.
Like they go after the game. Fletcher Hunt's got a couple errors in him, so does Fletcher Sharp.
And the mullets.
It's the mullets. Yeah. It's the running styles. They even move the same. Yeah. And this has been my criticism of Newcastle Knights, and I don't know whether it's a coaching thing or it has to be a coaching thing. They have this high percentage kick defense. They always let the team catch it, try to make the high percentage play and get him in the corner, or they run it on the last. It stands out. Fletcher Hunt stands out for Newcastle. Why, Mace? Because he competes. So he goes up, he competes. One, he gets one himself. The other one's for the game winner.
Yeah.
And Adam O'Brien, with the shitty press conference that he had, I think he even admitted that he goes, Fletcher Hunt's got it in his game. It's sort of something that we don't coach, but like we give him the ability to do it because he's got it in his game. It's like, well, this is when you
part of the game now, man. You got to just
when you're lacking in certain areas, you fucking got to chance your arm and go after the game, and that's why Fletcher Sharp and Fletcher Hunt stand out.
Yeah, they have a crack. It was I couldn't. This game did my head in. Like I was just like, there's no way Knights are going to win this game. Then they end up there's no way the Eagles could lose this game, and they've managed to lose this game. And that's why Seabold, he better be thanking Adam O'Brien.
Yeah, big time.
Because that performance in the second half, I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
I thought when Tommy
What were they doing? What did they do?
They just like it's happened so much. Imagine if you put so we talked about it recently about I think Random Stats Guy put up if you'd put $10 on all the underdogs throughout the year, you'd be up something ridiculous. Gamble responsibly, of course, like $600 or something. So you just go $10, roughies every week.
Yeah.
It'd be something. It's something crazy like that. Imagine if you put $10 on the team losing at halftime.
Oh. Yeah.
This year. How many
teams? There's been about 10 games like that.
Mate, and like 16-point margins, and then they've come back. Teams are getting nervous. They're getting to that point, and they're just fucking trying to park the bus.
16's nothing.
Huh? Everyone's the Pacers.
Yeah.
Everyone, no one cares.
What the Halley?
The Halliburton.
What the Halliburton?
That's on today, game 2.
It is too.
Game three.
Game 3? Is it one?
No, game 2 was yesterday. Yeah. OKC tied it up.
Pumped them, mate.
Gone back to India.
Gilgeous. Jesus Christ, what a human. What are we talking about?
Halftime blowing the lead.
Halftime.
Before we move off to Manly and critique Manly, KPP, it's the best game of the night.
Killed it.
They finally start throwing him the ball and supporting him around him. And it's on the same week that he has signed with the Tigers.
Straight after the next day, thanks for everything, blah, 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 blah.
He's going to be a good pickup for them.
He's going to be really good. You just got to play. You give him the ball.
Yeah. Benji will bring out the best in him because he will allow him to play.
Yeah.
I reckon Adam O'Brien, he's recruited 2 players from the Super League that were going really well over there, Kai Pearce-Paul and Will Price.
Yeah.
And Will Price didn't work out, and it's like defensive for sure. But
Kai Pearce-Paul can play.
It's because they play such a negative style of footy.
Yeah.
And I reckon
he doesn't suit. Yeah,
he'll go to Benji on the right hand side.
Tigers, and he'll be fucking offloading everywhere. We'll get to the Tigers. That Fainu kid looks the goods.
Yep.
They look pretty good on the weekend, but like I think just early ball to him or him hitting holes, he's got a lot. He's got a lot in his trick bag, man. You just can't really just make him do the same thing. Decoy, kick, chase. It's fucking boring. If you're a right side back row, man, Ola Kawatu gets a lion's share of the ball.
Yeah.
Give him the ball. And that's what, when we get to Manly, that's what they went away from.
Let's get to Manly.
That big dude was on fire.
Yeah.
Feed the beast. You've got to feed the beast. Keep going out the other side and everything, trying to score. Oh, it's weird. It's weird what they were doing. I said, they're going to get fucking beat here if they keep doing this.
I was watching it. Once they scored the first try, I was like, because this is Thursday night, remember? And Billy reckons he went all the way up to Sunday, whether you believe him or not on that. But I reckon Ches was maybe 1 metre away from a 40-20.
Change the game.
In the second half, he was a metre short. Knights go on and run him down. And I remember thinking at the time, if they, like maybe a couple of minutes later after they scored, I said, I wonder if he got that 40-20 Manly going and pump him. Like, could this cost them? Could this
Probably.
Because like they were awful in the second half. And he, like, we talked about the kicking masterclass. If he comes up with a 40-20 there, they score on that set, it's 26-0. Yeah.
Or you're just down there for about 5 minutes.
Yep.
Take more gas out. More gas out. Couple of repeat sets. That's all they need because Brooks is really good at getting repeat sets. So is Cherry. And I was just like, yeah, little moments like that can change, right? Then all of a sudden you get the ball back and just they end up getting a couple of tries and defensive reads on their left edge were terrible. Absolutely terrible. The Kai Pearce-Paul one, I think Benny Trebojevic come out just nothing.
So that was the part that I wrote down. I said losing Hopper didn't affect him to begin with because they had all the running, and Tolu Cole's such a good fullback.
They lost troops a lot in very important positions. Yeah, and they got exploited.
Yeah, so Gags had a field day in the second half with Benny Trebojevic.
Yes.
So Benny's solid, but you don't want to play 80 minutes because it was basically 80 minutes. Hopper goes down in the third minute with the. I know they lost Frizz as well, but it's easier to replace a middle even to the level that Frizz has played at, and considering they had lost middles. Kohler goes good. They're travelling, but then on the edges, and there was a time where they lost Tommy Talau for 15 minutes. Corey Waddell went out to the centres.
That's when they started getting this comeback.
And they had Joy on the edges during that period.
That's what I was looking at. I was like, it's just the key positions, especially when Hopper went off. I'm like, oh, that fucks up just the dynamics, you know what I mean? Because Hopper's been playing so good.
Yeah.
And, Kohler, he's been dominating, and Talau, and it just fucked up the dynamics of the team. And it was like, I said, they'll regret this at the end because fatigue gets you, then a little bit of fucking, they get a try, a little bit of hope.
Yeah.
Get another try. Oh, shit. We're in this.
So we remember when we talked about Kayla not playing that game on Friday because it was 3 games in 8 days.
He got pumped.
Ches did it. Ches played Wednesday. Saturday, he had to play and got a good victory against Brisbane. And then he played on the following Thursday. So he played 3 games in 8 days as the oldest ever Origin player.
Yeah.
So
Can't tell me he's not having a crack.
It's not ideal, mate. They need to sort something like that's not. There shouldn't be a Thursday night game at all after a Wednesday night and have, whether it's Ches, whether it's Kalen, who would have had to have done the same if he had to play the Friday before, right?
Just triple the Sunday up.
Sunday ticket. Sunday ticket's been firing.
Best.
Sunday ticket's been firing of late.
Yeah, but like when you just cut that Thursday out trip, and that's
you know what is, mate? And this is what we're talking about. More recovery.
Yeah.
The players have got more opportunity to recover. So you want, at the start of the year, you want Thursday, Friday nights. That's you fucking.
And then in contrast, Moses and Cleary, Moses is playing on the Monday. So he's got even more.
And Critter.
Yeah.
Critter, yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? But
Max
I mean, Max King and that, they got to fuck. They don't have as much time to recover either.
They were pumped.
Sucks. That was a fucking hard
did.
game.
Yeah.
Penrith on the Sunday. It's another hard game, right? They need to. I don't know. I don't know what to do.
All right, let's move on to the Storm versus Cowboys, 38 to Cowboys 14. I found this funny. So whenever I go to the presses, there's always comments, and sometimes I read the comments to get a feeling for like what the fans are thinking, and and everyone's got their mannerisms, and everyone's got their the words that they use consistently, and it just happens. And this guy, James wrote in the comments, sometimes I think Craig might be telling fibs, but then he says, to be quite honest, before he starts something, and then I relax. So he says, and I watched it.
To be quite honest.
Once I read that comment, I couldn't get it out, and I could just see it, to be quite honest, every time. But to be quite honest, the Storm, although not perfect, so much better. And like I anticipated, Jerome Hughes running, direct. Harry played a lot better. I knew they were going to be up for this game.
Yeah, exactly. The Harry Grant was on. He was on. And that's what we said last week.
Yep.
Great players come back. I bet he couldn't wait to get on the field. His ball skills from 9 has got to be either number 1 or top 3, right? For these delivery. The delivery left to right, hitting money or left to right, hitting Jerome Hughes on the chest whilst moving is a 20-meter dart.
Yeah, that's the harder pass.
And it's right on the chest.
Yeah.
That's freakish. And the other way as well, when he's trying to go out the back, he engages markers. And when they do that, they're very hard to beat.
That's a small detail for a lot of people that you really focus in on, right? You're huge on it.
Because it's so important because that ball's there and then it's like that. They're sprinting off the line.
Yeah.
It just takes time off him. It takes time off the back rolls, and it fucks the timing up. On what happens if you're trying to hit a hole. You've got to stutter, and then it goes, and then the defensive line's moving up, and then they hunt from the inside. It fucks you up.
You can get a lick, yeah.
So us like as back rows and like back row, front rows, like our timing needs to be impeccable, right? And when the ball's out here from the 9. Far out. You can tell when sides are shit when they got a shit 9 when they come off and it's not a genuine 9. Sometimes the Dolphins suffer with that. Right?
Yep. When Jeremy Marshall King's not out there.
Yeah. Max Plath, Psychoplath, he goes good.
Yeah.
But he's not a genuine 9.
Yeah,
he can't hit you with those 20-meter fucking lasers where Katoa could be. That's why Katoa plays pretty tight to the ruck, right?
That's fair.
He plays tight. So if he can get off, if he can in the middle of the field and he can get a 20-meter dart moving out to fucking 4-man and 3-man, look out.
This is why I think it's something that I notice in particular with Storm as well, because I reckon they're the best team. I hate teams that go east-west, as in sideline to sideline. But Storm, with Harry's passing game, they've got a clear plan for doing it because they always want to identify the defenders. So they have
and Bloor.
Mate, they were getting and trying to get at Tommy Did and Nanai as much as they could. So it's not only about them defensively, but it's about taking the gas out of them offensively. Because when Jeremiah got the ball, he was struggling to have any juice. So they go pass. Harry throws a bullet to Jerome. Jerome goes out the back, or sometimes just plays short to Katoa, Ali Katoa.
Yeah, it was outstanding.
And that's how they generate the quick play the ball whilst going sideways. They're the only team that does it well with a proper plan.
Because they know exactly what they're doing. Because there is a plan, right? They're not going, ooh, I see it. But like, because Jerome Hughes digs right into the line and Katoa runs those beautiful lines, he's getting one-on-one. Or he's going straight through. He went straight through before. He's a tackle buster. He finds his front. And then Harry does what he wants after that.
They filter
he
through
goes short side of Jerome Hughes once. He comes back over, brings Stefano under a little fake, another lead, bang. And then he's got fucking Munster going at you on the other side. Yep. They're having 3 cracks, and you're like, your defensive line, if you're doing that a lot, takes the gas out.
Yep.
It really does. And like, because they play such an expansive game, but then they go, boom, hit Nelson. Bang, hit Liero. Bang, hit Josh King. Boom, bang, bang. Then they pivot down there like that. And then they fucking have a crack at you. When they're on, that's still the team.
Yeah.
That's still the team.
It's the reason they're favourites.
Yeah.
Even despite, obviously, the Bulldogs in Canberra playing consistently better up until this point, but Storm are the team that everyone expects to get it going, especially after Origin.
Yeah.
Like this was a get-right game because it's human nature to be complacent and stuff like that. And then also factor in, remember Jerome Hughes missed the Pac Champs? So he was carrying injuries to the start of the year. Bally mentioned that.
Yep.
And the best bit, this is my favourite part about Harry, is that I think he can get a bit erratic sometimes, and we talked about it with his record at Origin. He was just nice, beautiful deliveries early in this game, and then the 25-minute mark, then he can go after it.
You know, it was good. Big, nasty.
Yeah.
Don't piss him off.
He started.
The 4.
They started him.
No, the 4 hit him right around the chops.
Vailea.
And he fucking just don't wake that beast up.
Yeah.
You see him threw the ball at his head. Yeah. And they just went, fuck you.
No reaction.
Yeah, no reaction. And it's just like, why'd you do that for, kid?
Yeah.
Coming in, it was a bit cheap. Fucking try to, when you're a big man, mate, you fucking put your arm over like that.
Do you think it's
fucking chicken wing?
Do you think it's do you reckon someone's had a word to him? I feel like he's been a lot more even.
Fucking oath he has. Yeah, it's chill.
Yeah.
Don't give away silly penalties. Like Belly would be drilling that into him.
Yeah.
Breathe. You know, you can see him doing a lot of breath work, right? And because just to center himself, and that's why a lot of teams do that, to try and center yourself and just like get back, be present, be in the moment, don't overreact, because it can cost your team. Penalties are so costly these days, and momentum's hard. So you don't want Nelson being, because he's a fucking fighter. He can go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want him doing that. You just want him, all right, next play. All right. He deserved to get the ball thrown at his head.
Yeah.
Because that's unsportsmanlike. It's not in our game.
See, that's the one where like I find it confusing, and I said this about 4 or 5 weeks ago when they missed it. Like, what happened to the chicken wing used to be like a sin bin or put on report?
You're
like,
fucking exposing his arm there. What if he had dislocated or tore his pec?
Yeah.
That's what Nelson was going, could fucking rip my arm, you know what I mean? Like, we're not, big guys aren't fucking like swimmers with, you know, like real flexible in our shoulders. You do that to me, I would have got up and fucking lost it like Nelson did.
Yeah.
Because you feel so exposed like that. When you're trying to play the ball that way, right, and he's going like that, you could see it, man. I was like, fuck. That was 20 years ago. Nelson's flying into him, and I know he's going to win.
I think it was 20 months ago. Maybe Nelson's flying into
him. Or just a push or something, you know. And Nelson just, you know, he just bit his tongue. And that's good to see that from Nelson.
Despite the scoreline, I thought there's still a top 8 team in this Cowboys. He's made some huge calls already this year, Todd Payton. The combination between Purdue and Dearden is a work in progress. It doesn't help that they're missing so many Origin players as well and where they are. But I feel like there's a team there in the Cowboys. I don't know if it's going to happen this year and they're going to scrape into the 8, or they'll be better for the run this year for next year.
Yeah, there is a team there. Drinky looks pretty good. I think he's playing good football. I mean, I'm not sure who takes Robson's spot.
That's huge.
That's a big, very big hole. He's a 50-man tackle, delivers lasers from 9. He's going to be a big loss.
Yeah,
because I don't see anyone coming off the bench or a little 9 that's sort of a little man from Canberra might be out there.
No, they won't. We'll get to that in a bit. He's done. Reedy's been linked to him.
Yeah,
Reed Marnie.
That could be it. He could fit up there good.
Yep, I reckon he'd sit him well.
Cowboys are they're a decent team, man. Nanai and Dearden, you got a decent squad there. Taumalolo hasn't even been back yet.
Well, he's the big one. I reckon like they're missing, and I wrote down aura.
Yeah.
Like JT.
Just his presence.
He's not playing the minutes that he used to, but his stats were awesome at the start of the year. And you're just missing that alpha.
What's up with him? What's up?
Hammy. Did his hammy. Yeah, right. They're missing an alpha through the middle.
Yeah. Because I thought, McLean just hasn't, he's just not that guy.
He's a great number 2.
He's good, yeah. He's good.
Great number 2.
He's good behind like Taumalolo.
Yep.
Even Cotter's really good, right? They can't be that number 1 meter eater, where Taumalolo's got that footwork still. He's got he'll find his front and he can really just get him on that roll where McLean's, he's decent, right?
Yeah.
But he ain't that.
No.
And then Cotter needs to be on that third wave. Because I don't want Cotter taking 2 and 3 plays.
Yep.
Play 1 or 2 because he's too tough.
Yep.
And he's not massive, right? He's just a goer. He's just a dog of all dogs. He's a fucking animal.
It was the plays just before. So Strinky nearly scores. Pappy comes up with a huge play to dislodge the ball. They also waste the captain's challenge there. Then Melbourne go down and they score just before halftime and then score straight after halftime. That was the game.
Done.
But Cowboys were competitive. It felt like they were in, despite the scoreline. I thought that was the difference.
I thought that as well.
All right, let's get to it. Dolphins 56 defeat the Dragons 6. Dolphins are quickly becoming my favourite team to go for. And the part that I love the most, mate,
some balls. 0
egos about them, and there's a reason for that. Yeah. So they're a reflection of both Wayne and I've got to give a huge amount of credit to what Wolfie's been able to do as well. Also, I'm going to credit Jesse Bromwich, the Juice, Tom Gilbert, and I say this respectfully, for all these guys, right? They weren't, discards is probably the wrong word. They weren't prioritised at the teams that they come from.
Chip on the shoulder.
They went to the Dolphins for an opportunity, and some of them are a little bit different, where like maybe Tom Gilbert, it's not necessarily like the Cowboys didn't want him, but they were at times starting Lukey, or there was Lukey, Nanai, Fine Fuiaki.
There was a few there.
There was a few there, and like Tom Gilbert was sort of floating around, and he was one of their marquee signings to begin with, and he's missed a bit of time. But I would argue there's only one player, Herbie Farnworth, that carries a little bit of swagger, a little bit of ego around in the best possible way.
Yeah.
But even him, he's probably arguably between him and Critter the best centers in the competition right now.
Yeah.
But Broncos
Sure.
didn't prioritise him. They chose Walshy. They chose Ezra Mann. They chose Reynolds. They chose Haas, Carrigan. Huge decisions. Not saying Broncos got it wrong, but I'm just saying –
but, I get
Herbie
it.
is now playing at the Dolphins because the Broncos didn't want to offer him a contract, and he carries that swag.
Yeah.
But all of the guys, I look at them and go, they're all the same, and they all rip in for each other, and they're so fun to watch, and now they're getting the joy of it. And, mate, they are missing so many troops.
Yeah, they are. They've still got it, haven't they?
All these other coaches use excuses, and especially the ones that are struggling about schedule and fucking all of that sort of stuff. They've probably got, and I say this again respectfully, what's the word to use for it with the fans without like again insulting them, but they're building a fan base there.
Yeah.
They've only been an NRL club for the last 3 years, so therefore you don't have the scrutiny of a Dogs team that's won a comp in 04 and hasn't won it since.
Yeah.
So you got all that energy of fans, expectations and all that. So you're building something, and therefore, mate, I reckon they've been on the back end of a couple of really rough games where they didn't get the calls. But again, credit to Wolfie because he's one of those. He's one of those coaches that I love. He takes full accountability for when they lose. He doesn't pass the buck when there are genuine excuses to use them. And when one of the media journos asked him questions about how he got him out of the hump that they were in by losing the first 4 games, he just put it all back on the players.
Yeah.
He said the players, mate, fuck everything. I love everything about what they're doing right now.
He's good. I like the Dolphins. They're good. They're fun to watch, man.
Yeah.
They've got some really good players, and when they execute, like because of the 7, you know what I mean. Even Cody, like he's just like you give Cody space. I didn't understand when Cody just went bang bang off his left. Like, well, I mean, defensive principles were awful there. I think he got a couple of young blokes there. He's coming off his left. You can't go sideways off his line. You don't give Cody. Don't disrespect Cody like that.
He's got it in his game.
No. You just don't disrespect that guy. He will carve the shit out of you. They're the cues that you don't want to give him. You just stay straight and let him play, and then he'll go across the field, and then he'll pass. You want him to do that. You don't want him to take you on.
So
they made him.
There's 2 guys that I'm going to give some credit to in the 6 jersey where the halves have been playing really good in the halfback. But even with all the chat around Galvin or Cherry Evans, I was like, man, Katoa could use, a star, a young emerging star, or a guy who's proven. Every game that I see Cody Nikorima play the last couple of years, he just continues to get better and better. And everyone's given Katoa the flowers, and deservedly so. But Cody's done a great job. He's one of those players that lives in the grey area.
Yeah.
And what I mean about that is that like the gun first graders, good first graders, solid first graders. Do you love them? Like, are they a long-term answer?
Consistency.
Just consistency.
Yeah.
And when you get that consistency, you see results and you benefit from it. And Cody's one of those guys.
And Cody, when he was in and out of teams and everything like that, and he shows glimpses of fucking going, shit, no, what freakish talent, you know what I mean? Now he's consistent.
Yep.
He's finding consistency, and then these two can be, I'm not sure how old Cody is. What is he, 26?
He'd be older than that.
He'd be older?
Yeah, he'd be about 28, 29.
Okay, well, that's prime.
Yeah.
That's prime time. He's learning. He's learned his craft for the last 6-7 years. He's honed his craft in, and now he's like fucking, he's a bona fide first grade.
31.
He's 31.
Cody Nikorima.
Yeah, okay. He's been around for a minute.
So he went Warriors, So let's play the game.
That's still fucking prime for a half.
Don't say anything. Have you got the rugby league project in front of you? Or what do you got, ChatGPT? Google. Warriors to begin with. Broncos. Back to the Warriors. Did he spend a year somewhere else?
Don't know.
Start again?
So he started the Warriors?
Nope.
No.
He started the Broncos. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then he went to the Warriors?
Mm-hmm.
Then the Bronx.
And did he go to another team before the Dolphins?
He did. And there's a link.
Sydney team? No. South.
Mm-hmm. South.
Yeah.
Fuck.
That's
It
right.
was too.
Then he got up there because Wayne took him up there.
Yep.
But yeah, he's been shopped around a little bit. No, he's been to some clubs where it's just like, okay, he's 31 now. Now he's hitting his prime. Right? You know, look at halves. Look at halves now. You know, they're not. They're getting there at around about 30. Right? The game's evolved really quickly while he was in his sort of like early years. You know what I mean? And then the game starts speeding up, and now he's just sort of gone. Okay, I'm 6 now. I've got a gun halfback. Now I can do what I want.
Yeah.
You know, he can attack, he can pass, he can kick, short kick, games. He's got everything.
I think, you know, when we talk about, remember the Roosters and we used to talk about Sam Walker and Luke Keary?
Mm.
It'd be just say if you had Nathan Cleary and Jerome Luai, that's a perfect example.
Yeah.
That's why Penrith was so dominant for a while. But if you get a gun playmaker specifically in the 7 and then a guy who's willing to play the proper Robin, like Cody Nikorima, or I'm about to talk about Chanel Harris-Tavita in a bit, right?
Yes.
Here's another example. Then I think it might be a better setup than having 2 stars like Sam Walker and Keary who want to be the dude.
Yeah, I think so.
You know what I mean by that?
Because definitely. This 2 looks like when they're on, their back line and their setups, and they look pretty much unstoppable when they go on a roll. When they catch a bit of heat, fucking Dragons didn't look like getting back in the game.
Nah.
Everything just hits, and they all get this. They grow another leg, and they just nearly look unstoppable because that back line is red hot. Their forwards are tough as hell. They're missing a genuine threat on an edge as a back row, but Lemuelu can fill that. You know what I mean? But like, because he likes early ball and everything. But that genuine threat on that right edge because Katoa loves going right.
That's Finay Fuiaki. He's been going right.
Yeah, I know, but like just. He's getting better. He's still young, right? He's still
raw.
young, right? And he just he just wants early ball. He wants crash ball, all that sort of time. So when they get that sorted, I think Finny Fuiaki is going to be like that, and Lemuelu is going to be like that. Gilbert's still got to go like that. Kafusi's are more of a middle now, but like once they get that sorted, they're going to be very hard to beat. They've got a fucking full package there.
No Plath. He's out for the season after.
What? Did he get injured again? Far out. Sorry, mate. Jeez.
Tom Gilbert, Tom Flegler, Daniel Saifidi, and apologies, I'm probably that's enough. That's
heavy. Missing those guys now.
All those guys are out now. So
Jesus,
I had them as a team to make some noise at the back end. You know, and also the last little.
So
bit.
Are you saying season? Saifidi?
All of them except for Max Plath are TBC. So Gilbert's a chance, but he did a peck.
No. I mean, it depends.
We spoke to Jersey Flegler. He's hopefully back next year. Saifidi, I believe, did a syndesmosis score on that try against Canberra, remember? Yeah. Remember they were leading that game, and then after that try, Canberra just romped them?
Yep.
After that. So
Jeez, you stack that deck and then just say they grow and just say they finish probably 11th this year. Something like that. And then, a whole nother preseason, a whole nother, working together and figure out these combinations and get everybody on. I said that they've been hitting the door for top 8
Herbie
for a while.
Also, just to bid the edges, I know they don't have the strike power or the consistent strike play on the edge back row, but Herbie and Averillo, for me, they're the outlier to the centre rule.
Yeah.
They're the only, they have genuine, they dictate games, those 2 guys.
Yeah.
And I always say, I would prefer meter eating wingers, defensive centres. I wouldn't prioritise the centre position. No. Fuck Herbie and Averillo, go good. Yeah. They can break a game open.
But I love it how they see just eyes up football.
Yeah.
Because they go, okay, we just say we're on the halfway line, right? And it's third tackle, and they're just the other side of the post, right? And they're just going boom, 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 straight to Averillo or bang, bang, bang the other way to Herbie. Just to make those 30 or 40 metres and I don't know. It's just really good to watch. When they're on, they're fucking hard.
Averillo's highly skilled.
Very highly skilled,
Yeah.
mate. Very highly skilled. You know, he was at the Dogs. He was a Bulldogs junior. I saw it, and he's just like, he was coming in and out of games, wasn't very consistent, but the skill set was there, right? The skill set was there. So now it's getting up there, is getting the best out of him. It's good. It's good to see.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I enjoy watching them two play for the centres because they're almost like a bit of a throwback centre combination.
Then they're wingers, and then like you got Hammer, and like fuck, they score. That's when they're on fire. They score from anywhere. They're so fast.
Sarko's a gun. I'd love to have the Sarko as a winger. Bostock's an emerging winger.
Yeah, Bostock's a gun as well.
All right, let's get to the Dragons.
Fucking yuck. Jesus Christ. What happened?
They put together a solid month of this, but the vets have got to find a way to stop the bleeding there, eh? Like,
no chance. Still, this was close for a little bit. And I was just like, what happened? Half time? I don't know what the score was. Half time wasn't nothing insurmountable. Wasn't like, it's game over at half time.
It's also a reflection of the comp where you're like, if you're just the comp's so close, and if you give it a team a sniff, they don't have to be the Raiders or the Bulldogs to smoke you.
No.
The Dolphins have got enough talent that if you're a little bit off and you get a little bit complacent, you've had a good month of footy, you've had some strong wins, and you just don't turn up, then bang.
You just get dealt with.
Yeah, you get dealt with. And I found it interesting. Flano was talking about the medical staff.
What about?
So someone asked him about Tuipulotu, the money man. So he's going to miss some more time. He's re-aggravated that hammy, doesn't finish the game. And someone asked him, "Fuck, what was the wording?" Someone in the comments will let us know. But there was the wording specifically that Flano. If you go on Fox Sports on League News, it'll be in the heading because I've seen that they mentioned it. But it was like,
wish I could tell you, mate.
Yep. So if you just read the description a little bit, and then it's the word that
we'll have to review it. It wasn't up to standard.
Yeah. So he's talking about the medical staff and the frustrations because they gave him an extra week and then he still couldn't finish the game. So.
Oh, here we go. I'll have to have a look in the morning. I've been in long enough to learn we have to be careful after a game and what you say and what you do.
No, that was it. That was later on. That's right.
As for Tuipulotu,
that's all right. It's all right. It's all good.
Dragons, just put that one back of the head. Get away with it. There's nothing. There's no positives to come out of that game.
Well, there's no positives for the Sharks as well, who they're playing this week. So the Sharks and Dragons.
It's a local derby, so they'll get up for it.
They've both got licked going into a derby. So let's start off with the Warriors though.
Geez.
And
full package though. That's
you had you admitted to
Metcalf 7
Metcalf and going the other way with him now. I'm going to do the same with Chanel Harris Tavita. I was thinking of Chance Nickel Clocks.
No, it's hard.
So
I always fuck that up.
He's finally won me over.
Yep.
And what I mean by that is I could see a few different things. Like I love Chansey at the back. Wade Egan, I think, is he could
missed
play.
The game, eh?
Yeah, Wade Egan.
Yeah.
He was a late scratch in the morning. Who
took his spot?
Sam Healy. Mitch
He's
Healy's
all right.
son.
Mitch Healy's son.
Yeah.
Played against Mitch Healy.
Anyway, Chanel defends like he'll proper lick
He
you.
can hit you.
Did he get Britton Nicola? He got Britton Nicola.
Yeah.
He got Britton
I think
Nicola.
he's taken the foot off the pedal a little bit about hitting everybody.
Yeah,
I think they told him just to relax a little bit, mate.
Because he was biting so hard, he was exposed.
Yeah, I know, but he got a couple.
He can lick you. So Chanel Harris David, probably the best hitter as an edge half.
Easy.
Left foot kick, beautiful. Sit on the left side, just do those little pop guns into the corner.
Yep.
That's all you're required to do. And he's found a great run-pass balance as well.
Yeah.
And he gets rewarded, gets a nice pick, takes it to the house.
Yeah.
Got some wheels. But I was at the start of the year, I was hesitant to declare the Warriors because I was like, Chanel was my guy. So even though I was sort of similar to you with Metcalf at the start, about 4 or 5 weeks in, I went, all right, I've seen enough from Metcalf. You seen enough last week.
Yeah.
I was always hesitant to Chanel. I think I've seen enough from Chanel as well now.
He looks good. It looks like that combination. Everything's working.
Yep.
Everything is working from the back rower, the benchy coming on. What's his name? Set Fish up for the try. Vaimunga. Yeah, he looked outstanding because of the fact that Barnett was out. I think they've had that mentality, next man up mentality.
Webby said this in the presser. He said, don't don't try to replicate Barney. Replicate Barney efforts.
Yeah, and that's what they did.
Yep.
Leka Halasima was outstanding. He does little things good that I didn't expect a young kid to do. Does all these little things really well as a back rower. They look really well balanced. Like Fish, I reckon's gone to another level as well. He's just leading them. METCALF, fuck, they look good.
I told you the story about doing the Hayden Knowles podcast about Fish, right? And for those who haven't heard it, I'll tell it again, just a shortened version of it. So there was a coaching staff that was in the gym in the locker room, and he overheard a conversation between James Fisher-Harris, and he heard him say to a young player, and didn't throw the young player on the bus, but he said, "We don't do that around here." And then the coach heard it, sort of, comes. I think he might have even been on the toilet or something like that. Anyway, so he comes out and he sees Fish still in the locker room. He goes, What'd you say to that young fella? And Fish was like a little bit confused and didn't do it because he didn't know anyone else was around. And Fish goes, "Oh, you try to throw strapping tape in the bin and it missed." And he said, "We don't do that around. They pick it up and put it in the bin."
But he didn't pick it up.
So
That's
the kid picked it up.
No, but like, did he have a shot, missed it, and then let it?
Yes.
Didn't even try and
left it, right? So he goes to the young kid, "We don't do that around here." So he picked it up.
Good.
You can see that in the Warriors culture. It represents Fish, who Fish is, what Webby's trying to achieve there. And I said it before last week, the difference between the 2023.
And that's what I said, because like when everyone's like, "We're going to miss Fanua Blake, we're going to miss you'll miss his meterage and you'll miss what he performs on the field.
Yep.
But what Fish does on the field and off the field is fucking chalk and cheese. Absolute chalk and cheese.
To anyone, not only
his
Adam.
leadership, he's
Compared to anyone.
his leadership and the mana that he brings and the spirit that he brings to that team. He's New Zealand captain, you know what I mean? As I said, it's like bringing Ruben Wiki back to fucking New Zealand.
Yep.
They were bees dick off grand finals and stuff like that. They're just in a really good era where what he brings, like he will drive that culture to the end, right? And people will follow. That's it. They follow. Niokora will follow. All those brothers will follow, and then it just goes down to the younger kids, the Halasimas and everything. They know how this guy's won 4 comps. He's captain in New Zealand. He's our guy. You know what I mean? He's our, he's the dude that I want to be about.
He said something cool in the presser after. So
he's got a fucking blonde goatee and a rat's tail. So fuck off. Try and tell me to cut it off. Shut up.
Does he put a little bit of tinge in it, you reckon?
He fucking oath he has. He's dyed his goatee like Magatu. Have a look, and he's got the ratty as well, and he's still dominating.
Yeah, he was talking in the press as they brought up the Via Moanga. Sorry if I'm pronouncing his name wrong, but Via Moanga. And they're like, "Oh, nice try assist from the young fella there." He goes, and I found this interesting. He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I've been running those lines my whole career. It's about time someone passed it to me."
I love it. Spoken like a true middle.
Love it.
Just running decoys all game. Someone hit me.
My whole career. About time someone hit me.
200 games.
I fucking love that for him.
I love the skill set of my Vaimunga.
Yeah.
Just that was a beautiful overs, and then he squared up and bang. It was just, I love seeing those sort of plays, and that just shows me how connected that middle is.
Yeah.
Right? They can score tries out wide. They can do all these fancy things. DWZ out there fucking putting his fucking nuts on that kid's head, just jumping over him. Easy. Just they can score anyway.
Yeah.
Crossfield kicks, beautiful. Through the middle, on the edges. Do you know the best? Nickel Clocksat is in ridiculous form.
So the part that epitomises this team as well is the try saver on Hamlin Nuele just on halftime.
Yeah, exactly.
They never recovered from that, the Sharks.
Who stopped him?
Chance.
Was it Chance?
Chance again, yeah. Chance had a fucking about 2 or 3 against the Rabbitohs as well.
Yeah,
he's on fire.
He's in a purple patch.
Yeah.
And I think and that's testing out fucking Tuivasa. He's playing better. He wants more.
Well, see, here's the thing, and this is why I backed Webby. Go back and watch us talking about it. Even last year when things weren't going well, Webby always declared Chance as the guy. Rog was going to come back and play centres and wing. I reckon Rog is, at this point of his career, so much more efficient on the wing.
Yeah.
And Chance defensively.
Yep.
Not with effort plays because Roger's got it in him as well. But the communication of the defensive line, you can tell that they're all in sync, and that comes from Chansey.
He's fit too.
And I hate to bring it up again, and it's only a little dig it is now, but only a little one. Warriors fans were after Chansey all last year and at the start of the year.
Because of Tuivasa, they were looking at Tuivasa 2018.
For sure.
You know what I mean? They're like, okay, well, you know, Tuivasa's getting a little bit older. He's lost probably a metre of pace, but he's still a gun player, right? He's play twos and everything like that. You try and put him on his back. He's fucking big, man. Like, he still competes. He's still scoring tries. And I think they're all on the same page, that back three. Back three is outstanding.
It's a good veteran back three, eh?
Fucking outstanding. Yeah. It's hard. Like, when they come out of yardage, you can see. I don't like hearing commentators go, oh, God, have a look at the, on any side, have a look at the middles. They look tired. Like, it's their job to walk back so the back three or back five get up to where they are.
Yeah.
Like, understand the game, commentators. Fucking dumb. You know what I mean? Like, they get a chance. Have a look how the middles work so hard. They're in a fucking washing machine. They trace and kick and doing all this sort of shit. They walk back. That's what they're told to do. They don't have to fucking jog back. They're waiting for the guys to bring the ball up. Then they're spreading out to try and get on play 3 and 4, and then get on the fucking kick again. They're not tired. They're getting a little bit of a breath back so they can do it over and over again.
Do you think the wingers are probably got more energy because they haven't made 5 tackles in a row like the biggest have?
Yeah. You've been in a washing machine. You know, where the fuck you are? Oh, geez, I look tired. Shut up. Like, understand the game if you're going to say anything like that. Commentators fucking have no idea.
Sometimes it's just like a lazy response.
So I put it on fucking mute. Shut up.
SEN sync.
Yeah.
Listen to me.
Do that.
Yeah,
I'd rather do that. I'd do it.
Hey, Lukey.
Kills me.
I had it on in the pub, couldn't hear the commentary.
Oh,
so that's when I would text you on
Oh,
Thursday.
nice. Lukey's been giving me some mad assists recently too.
Yeah.
Someone actually wrote it in the and we didn't get read out on Friday. You were texting me about something, and
I was just saying there was a lot of L1.
I reckon it'll be so that it'll be Josh Pryor. You know, you see that name all the time.
Yeah.
I think he's the guy that follows us over to SEN, and he goes, "Has Lukey been giving you any gems throughout the game?" And I said, and it never got read out, but I had a little smirk to myself during it. So shout out for the L1 day ones that have been tuning in. Sharkies.
I was going to say, what happened? They they have so much potential, right? Like with their attack of Fanul Blake and Nakora and fucking Trindle, Nico,
Adam.
it's just Adam,
Will Kennedy.
Was Kafusi,
Teague
Kennedy,
Wilton.
far out,
Talakai.
man.
They're too talented for this. Here's my question to you.
Busted up like that. They are a defensive. They're based on defense, Sharks. Because Fitzy.
Which loss is worse? Getting ambushed by the Roosters rookies before the bye? Or I know the Warriors are a different level of team, but that's at Shark Stadium.
No, this is worse.
After you've been ambushed.
Way worse.
I was expecting a response from the Sharks.
This is way worse loss because they got dealt with.
Yeah.
They were proper dealt with.
Off a bye.
This was a tough start to the game, right?
Yeah.
It was half time. It was pretty even.
Yeah.
Even though it looked like they were in the game, the Sharks. And I was just like, Warriors, that's a premiership winning mentality, right? You're playing against a top 4 team in the Sharks, and they've got a team that you think is going to be there in the end, and you just like overpower them. No Barnett, you know what I mean? Like, you got that, and it's just like, fuck, they didn't look like keeping up with them, and then their attack looked pedestrian, right?
Adam's still putting up big numbers, but the Roosters did it and the Warriors did it. He's ahead on a plate. He's the reason I think they can progress further than they have in the years previous and get to a Final Four or whatever it is. But
he needs help.
If you put him head on a plate, because they've been so reliant on his go forward this year, the Warriors went after him. He still has big numbers, like I said, but nowhere near the effect of a late offload.
I think he needs to develop a pass. Like, just say, because they are doing the head on the plate sort of thing, he needs more push,
quick tip,
and he needs to tip it on. Just say a normal. Just say first run, boom, just quick tip to someone like Kafusi, and then just say on play 4, he can take that one on a quicker play the ball. Need to mix his game up a little bit. Don't be taking play 1s and 2s. I know that's your job sometimes, but play 1, he can pass it or go out the back and have a quick shift at him. Right?
Yep.
And then so he's not getting fucking 3 or 4 out of it. Like, I know he's big and strong enough to handle that, right? But if you want to play football, because they're all fucking just screaming up at him, out the back, you know what I mean? And then they won't be able to rush up that quick, right? Then depending on the quick play the ball, he can pick and choose what he wants. But don't send him one out. He doesn't even have the opportunity to pass out the back.
Yeah.
right?
They play
it looks
very
it looks very pedestrian.
Yeah, they play
Doesn't
very
look hard
conservative style as well.
Doesn't look very hard to defend, right? You just got to either control, like you give Fanua Blake those, 10, 15 meters, and you just grab it onto the ball and just trying to chop legs. No, he's strong. It's strong as hell. As long as he doesn't get that late offload, you can happily give him 15 meters.
Yep.
I wouldn't care.
Yep.
I just don't want that late offload. But like I need more push with Fanua Blake, right? Genuine push. They're sort of sitting back and going, oh, he can do it all. Not when you're playing up against fucking guys like Fish and all those guys, because they'll fucking come at you.
The Sharks are they're the frustrating team for me to sort of get a read on. Yeah. I'm expecting a big game against the Dragons this week before I declare something. I won't go too crazy this week, but it's disappointing.
Disappointing because you're coming off a bye. You just got smashed by the rookie Roosters, and you're going up against the Warriors. Going, okay, that's a top 4 team, premiership winning, a premiership threat. We got to fucking put a good
even against the
on.
Roosters. I gave them passes like they'd been travelling, but they got ambushed, and it's like, all right, you correct it. No pass on this one. Let's get to it. The Broncos 44. They got their groove back against the Titans 14. The blackout jerseys look sick. It's for a great cause as well. How good? I think we're going to get sent in the jerseys.
Yeah, they're on the way, I believe.
Are we going to get some?
We'll get some blackout jerseys on the way.
Funny thing I saw on TikTok, it was Katoni Staggs highlights from the All Blacks versus Argentina.
You look good, man. I think that's just a way to like.
Did you ever wear the all black kit that we had at Catalan Dragons in 16?
No, I don't think so.
We only wore it for about 3 or 4 games.
Maybe, I don't know. I can't remember that. I can't remember that year.
Yeah, I honestly believe there's something in the placebo effect of it. Now the All Blacks have got the aura, right?
Yeah.
There are examples of teams that don't like. I was thinking about teams that haven't gone well like the Raiders in the All Black. Hasn't necessarily led to success for the Oakland Raiders in the NFL over the years. But I remember just trying on the kit or putting on the kit before for Catalan's games, looking and going.
Looks mate. I did play in that.
I don't know what the results were like, but I remember just going, fuck yeah, I look pretty good here. Like, look good, play good, all that mentality.
I think I was speaking to a couple of guys at the Bulldogs, and they were trying to. I think they're going to try and do an all blue and just a couple of things white. That looks sick. All blue pants, everything like that. Because I think they were trying to get the All Black last year.
Yep.
They were trying to black it out, but
Broncos jumped them.
Something got hit. Because I was speaking to Az about it, and he goes, it was a drama.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they would have had the All Black last year.
Louis Brown put up a Dear Warrior one a couple of weeks ago. It looked fucking awesome as well.
Yeah, that looked good.
Yeah.
But like that's just another. It just looks cool. It's good for a good reason. Mental health.
Yep.
But they look dominant, man. And that's what I said. When Walsh comes back, Ezra Mann's in that team, it looks totally different. Because Ben Hunt fucked the dynamics of that team up. He's at 9. I mean, that's what I mean. As honestly as I can put it like that, I'm like, well, when Ben Hunt come in there and he was with Reynolds, it just looked fucking pedestrian. Their timing was off. Walsh didn't know what was going on because he's used to running off Ezra Mann. Now Ezra's back. And then Walsh is back. Now Ben Hunt will come back and he'll probably play 9 or something like that. Then they'll go on a bit of a run. I think they've got that too. They've got too much potential to just fall back.
Okay, so despite the frustrations with Walshy at times, and we were critical of him at times at the start of the season and over the past year or so, they were 5 wins from 8 with him going into this game. One of those losses was when he tore his PCL in the Warriors game in the first 15 minutes, played the rest of the game. I don't think he got enough credit for his toughness for that too.
Player, isn't he?
Like, you know, we've brought this up before with regards to him and Ponga, right? They're, beautiful step, cut out ball, good looking cats.
They do fancy shit,
you know,
but they're tough.
If it was Teddy, people, you know, different people in the media would have been raving about Dylan Edwards. He would have been a tough bugger, right? So I don't believe he got enough credit for that. No. They averaged 28 points per game with him.
Yeah.
And I loved at the end of the game when he was getting interviewed, and I know it was a huge occasion, 300 games for Ren, but he's halfway through an interview and then he's seen a big team photo was happening for Ren. Just brushed the interview, ran over to the team, and it's a really good team first with everything they've been going through and all the drama in and around the team. I love that from him. Yeah,
well, she just was out of form. Right, his timing was off. I said it at the start. He doesn't work well with Ben Hunt. Ben Hunt's not a 5'8". He was just a makeshift for Ezra Mann. That was all.
They were 5 from 8 though.
Yeah,
compared to what they've been like.
Walsh was playing shit. He wasn't playing well. Like his timing was out the back, it was off. And then the Shibasaki was on that left edge. He's never played with him before. You had Shizeski on that left edge. He never played with him before.
Yep.
So now you got Piakora, like fucking, he come in, played his best game all year, looks good, right? He's out the back. Ezra's there. Ezra's hitting Piakora for that. You know what I mean? Looks good. Shibasaki's on, like everything's on the same page now, right? So now it's fucking danger time for everyone else because if they play like that, teams are going to get pumped.
The best, they're the most dangerous team.
Yeah,
they're the team that everyone who's in
wants
the top
to
four.
fall.
Yeah,
I want them to be not in the top 8.
You want that chaos around Madge and
you want to hear these noises. Oh, Madge is training them too hard. You want to hear that if you're a top 4 team because you don't want them to make a run.
Yeah,
right. And they got the potential to make a run. And I think just doing that to the Titans aren't a bad team, right? But like pumping them like that.
Yeah.
And then Walsh coming back. Hopefully Walsh's knee's all right. He toughed it out again.
Yeah.
Toughed it out again. Limped over the line that last try, which is awesome.
When he hopped and skipped for that first one, I was like, "What's he doing?" And then he scored, and I was like, "Fuck."
He's a tough little prick.
Yeah.
But we said it, Jensen.
The rotation.
Front row. We said it. I said Carrigan. See, Carrigan, when he got that try and he set it up, right, it was because Walsh out the back and it was a little bit wider. Carrigan had that thing, or a little dummy through, offload.
He doesn't score that try with the 8 on it.
No, he
because
doesn't.
he's either on one, he's either on the outside of Kobe Hetherington, or 2, he's got the mindset of just carrying the ball.
Yeah.
I love that for him at Origin. I love that for Isaiah Yeo at Origin. But at club level, Paddy Carrigan and Isaiah Yeo should be playing with the ball.
Yeah. And that's exactly what you saw. It just they just looked way better and looked way scarier. You know, Payne Haas can run wherever the fuck he wants to run. No one's going to really stop him, right? Left, I don't know. Wherever he goes, he goes. He just destroys things. You've got to get off the back of him. And whoever wants to take that first little sacrifice hit, it's going to be Jensen, right?
Yep.
Get a quick play the ball. Then Payne Haas. Quit a quick play the ball. Then Carrigan get a little bit wider of the ruck and then has like leads and then Walsh out the back. And
even Ricky got some ball this week.
All that, that's what I mean. It looks better, right?
Yeah.
Because of that. I'm like, why'd you fuck around so long? To like, you still had the forward pack there.
It's my main criticism on Madge for this year. He fucked around for ages with the forward pack.
Yeah. It's not working.
Yeah.
It is not working. It worked against us and then you lost fucking 7 in a row.
You changed the culture, right? And you're trying to change things and you wanted to make huge changes. And I think Madge was so stubborn about not wanting to replicate what Kevy had done because maybe he's trying to change just some things. Piakura, and I've been saying it for 3 or 4 weeks, needed to be on the left edge. Jordan Ricky played his best game of the season. Paddy Carrigan at 13. Hetherington in the toilet back to the bench. And I know it's only one game. And I know it's only the Titans. Willison with the second wave off the bench.
Payne Haas doing his thing and then he plays 30 minutes, right?
Get a spell.
30 minutes, have a spell. Wilson, do your job, make an impact. Takura, they did a job. Then he gets back on and finishes the game.
Yep.
Right? That's how that whole thing should be working. Carrigan can fucking go balls out. He can play whatever he wants now when he's playing 13. A little bit wider, not copping 3 blokes in a tackle all the time. Takes it out of you. Now he's getting one-on-ones. You know, like that's how you play Carrigan. That's how he plays his best football. A couple of years ago when he was one of the best forwards. Yeah, he can play rep football. He can play front row.
Yeah.
Right? You can do that because you're playing with other fucking great players as well.
But Broncos, you can expose weaknesses in teams if you play a little bit of footy.
So they finally figured it out.
Shout out to Ren, 300
well done,
games.
300 games, mate.
You can tell the players lifted for him. They meant a lot to him. And I think the player the most that was just fucking aggressive was Katoni, his right edge partner. Katoni was up for this game.
And you know what? With Katoni, sometimes he comes, they've been critical of him, like, not being involved in games and coming in and out of games. What happened in the first set? Boom, boom, bang, bang, early ball to Katoni. That's how you get him in the game.
Get him a touch.
You don't fucking let the forwards just say with our centres, like Willie Tonga and all those sort of, on him to get the ball first touch because centres can just sit out there for maybe 3 or 4 sets and not get the ball because the forwards will get the ball.
Sometimes back rowers can be
back rowers will be like, oh, fuck, get me the ball, get him an early touch, get him to cook, right? Even if it's just one-on-one, get him to just fucking try and get his best. Get a quick play of the ball, boom. Then we go back to then they get into the game, right? Yeah. These strike centers like Katoni, they're not like your Herbies, right? Herbie just wants fucking 25 touches. He'll about 5 or 6 of them might be really great touches, but he just wants contact. He's a worker. He's like another back rower as a center.
Herbie's a bit like Justin Hodges. If he's not getting the ball, he'll go looking for a scoot.
He'll do 15 fucking dummy half scoots just to get in. Where Katoni wants one-on-one balls, bang, bang, so he can get you, shake you. He can put a move on. He's old school like that, right? And then, but then he will start. But once he gets a taste for it, he just wants to get the ball more.
Yeah.
You got to let it. That's how you get Katoni Staggs to play the best. That's how you get the best Katoni Staggs.
100.
You got to get him a first set, bang, bang, early ball. You do 3, you get the kickoff, one other guy, another one, then boom, hit him on the 4th, go back to the middle, or hit him on the 3rd, go back to the middle, get your fucking kick away. Katoni's in the game.
Yep. And he stayed in the game and he was locked in all the way to the end. So big game.
Super aggressive.
Let's get to the Titans. My biggest criticism of Des right now that's more apparent that I've noticed with the Titans, but it's a reflection of his career as well, his lack of trust. I reckon if you look at the best teams, it's a next man up mentality. The Bulldogs have it, the Warriors have it, Raiders have it. Whoever comes in has got to do a job. Desi's never really had the faith in an entire squad. Like, when you think about years, I remember a good friend of mine, Jamie Bureau, one of my best mates. Remember when he sat on the bench for like 2 or 3 games at the start of his career? Now, Jamie went on to go prove it. Yeah. But Des has always had this 15 guys, like play 15, 16.
It's weird.
Not
in today's game.
You can't do it, mate.
No,
you can't do it anymore.
Not with the speed of the game.
You've got to be able to give these other guys, or at least not even huge minutes, but you've got to be able to show the faith that they're capable of doing it.
It's like Des is stuck in the fucking time warp. Like it's like in the 2010s.
Yeah? Well, it's such a good roster, mate, so it worked for him.
Yeah, I know it
and
could,
he's stuck in
but it's not like that anymore.
No.
Your team, like it's all about possession and momentum and fitness and everything like that. They just seem, the Titans still got a stacked side, talented as hell. Like you got Fodawaker, you got Tino, you got Beau Fermor. There's 3 Origin players in your pack. Is that not enough?
Yeah, and they had 4 if Dave's playing.
Yeah, is that not enough to get you over the line most games?
It's because they're overworked, I reckon.
Yeah, I couldn't even name their bench. Couldn't name the bench.
Yeah,
that's making an impact where he's playing 30 or 40 minutes and you go, he's good.
The 2 guys that didn't get a huge minutes this week are Jacob Alec-Winky, who's played a little bit here sparingly, and Adama Hale.
See?
Yeah.
Not many minutes. And when they do come on, they're under the pump.
Yep.
They're getting flogged. They're getting they're not getting quality minutes. They're getting minutes when it's like fucking desperation times.
Yeah.
So it's
garbage time.
Yeah,
like
it's
the
garbage
over,
time. Yeah, it's game over. Give me some minutes. Like, what the fuck? Put me on, like, give me 20. Like, give Tino a bit of a rest, man.
I think the issue for sure, and this is gonna be the
and Reg.
Yeah, Reggie.
So you got Reg, Fodawaker, Tino, and Beau Fermor. 4 fucking Origin and Test players in your pack.
Yeah.
You got to do better than that. Fuck. That's enough of the Titans.
Yeah.
Do my head in.
Okay. We'll move on from the Raiders 36 defeated the Rabbitohs 12. The day was all about Big Papa, and we mentioned him. So, Raiders fans, if you're only listening to this bit, he was Mace's OG Bull of the week.
Yeah.
But it was Ethan Strange's day to begin with. He got him off the canvas, and not once did I ever think the Canberra Raiders looked stressed, even when they were down 12-0. But the strangest part about Ethan, do you see him goal kicking?
No.
Kicking right foot.
Oh, really? He's a left footer, isn't he?
He left foots in gameplay.
That's why he's so balanced and strong. You know what I mean?
He kicks left-footed in general play, goal kicking right-footed. I've never seen that before.
No.
Ambidextrous.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's why he's so well balanced with the ball. He's strong as hell.
Normie's like that. So when I play Corey Norman's left foot kick in, but when he plays golf, he's right-handed.
Yeah, right. But that's
weird.
I haven't seen that. I've seen that before, what you said, but I haven't seen this
Either
left, and then go punt it.
Left
and goal kick with your right. Anyway, he's a gun.
He's a gun.
When does he, like, just say, who's our 6 for New South Wales? Like,
Mitch.
Moses,
Yep.
He's going to be knocking that door down soon.
Him and Katoa.
Yep. They're the next ones up.
Yeah.
And Clear, I mean, it's great because Cleary's going to be under the pump as well.
Hey, wait. Katoa, Strange, Galvin.
Fuck.
Looking all right.
And I hope, you know what I mean? I hope to God it's not like where New South Wales was so dominant. Queensland was so dominant with Bill, Cam, JT and that, where a lot of good real 9s and 7s just their careers got fucking nothing. Well, this could happen because Cleary's got another at least 8 years in him.
If he stays in the NRL, no one's surpassing Nath until he finishes up, until he decides that he's done. And people calm down. Just because you haven't seen at Origin, he's still the premier half in the game. He's the elite player, and he will be the elite player. Mitch is playing the best that he's ever played in his career. He's going to try to hold on to that 6 jersey for the next 2 or 3 years.
As long as we keep winning, they're going to.
Jerome's thereabouts.
Yeah, he is, but like I just
look,
if we
depth,
keep
though.
if New South Wales keep winning, those other young kids, they get spoken about, but they just don't get the crack unless there's injuries. That's it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So if we keep doing the job, we get this series, and next year, you know, hopefully, I mean, this is my Blues hat on, but. Yeah, it's going to be hard for those guys, but they're going to be pushing. And that's what's going to make these other guys go to another level because you don't want to give that up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what these other guys, fucking hell, these guys are coming.
Yeah.
Katoa's coming. He's 21.
Katoa's the one.
You know, Strange is coming. I'm like, fuck, he's got it.
I love Strange. Strange is limited. He doesn't have the passing game.
Yeah, he's going to develop all this shit, mate. He's only young. He's going to – I know Katoa's – he's the dude, right?
Yeah.
He's the guy. But like, he's probably in the hardest position because he's got Cleary.
Yeah.
Where the 6 with Moses 31, 32, he's
fair.
probably about 2 or 3 years max, I reckon. And then someone else is going to be coming up, genuine 6.
That's fair.
You know, so I'm like, where the fuck – you know, they're going to have to be hoping for an injury.
What's the footy family background of the Strangers? Like, why is John all of a sudden a gun coach for the women's game? And then you've got Ethan, you've got Jasmine.
So that's very condescending from you. John Strange has been around for a while.
Yeah, that's my question. Like, I've never heard of them.
I haven't either. I'm with you. Fuck.
Yeah, so John Strange has been in the game for about 4 or 5 years. I think Ethan Strange might have even been in the juniors at the Roosters.
He's a Rooster. No, he's a Central Coast boy.
Yeah, and then obviously
Pretty
Sticky
sure.
again. Canberra identified him nice and early.
He's a Wine Roos.
Yeah, they're just going through. They've got a nice little period for the
What
family.
I meant by that is, like, you know how there's like OGs that like.
What you meant by that, you
guys
just don't
coming
like
through.
John Strange.
What do you hate
Is that
John
what you
Strange
meant?
for?
Blues coach?
And this is the part that I'm confused about. So his sister Jasmine played for the New Zealand Māori at the start of the year.
Ooh.
So Ethan,
Jasmine's Strange. So he can. Oh, you're trying to claim him. You're trying to get him in the New Zealand team. He could.
you said there's no path for him for
Fuck
New
it.
South Wales.
No, there's no path. Go.
She can play for England.
Go on, get the black jersey. Go on.
She's considered playing for England as well. So there's a lot of bloodlines that they could play for.
Yeah,
It's very strange.
Nice.
No.
very strange.
Yeah, rabbits. What do you reckon?
No, not
we're done,
rabbits.
No, we're not done with the rabbits.
I've got a good one
sorry,
for you.
sorry. Okay,
I got one on
yeah.
the bra for you. So,
Yeah.
so the bra didn't want. He played his 100th game on the weekend. Ricky said the bra didn't want to celebrate because he had 2 games on loan during COVID for the Dogs.
Is that fucking right? Oh no!
So Sticks was on fire in the presser, by the way. So
I reckon him and Sticky would get along so good.
firstly, Sticks, they asked him if he was going to be picked, and Sticky's playing that New South Wales versus Queensland mind games. He goes, nah, I don't expect him to drop Ches, and I don't expect him to pick Corey because they pick and stick and they're loyal.
Ooh, Sticky, just very condescending.
Yeah.
Fuck off. He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. So Sticky's playing the games, and then he also had a mad dig at the Dogs, and this is like so.
Did I forget that the bra was at the Dogs?
He goes. The Dogs were struggling. They needed some players, but also in my head, I'm like, you also let him go.
You fucking let him. You didn't care,
He
mate.
wasn't a priority for you
You
to
didn't care.
Ricky's the best. He had a gun press. Go and watch it. I'm telling you.
I love Ricky,
Mate,
mate.
go and watch it. Fucking Ricky's presses are fucking all time, and he was feeling himself.
He wants us to come to a game, boys. I'm telling you. We've got to
Maybe
get to a
you.
game. No. If they come play up in Sydney,
Yeah.
we'll go and have a coffee with Stick.
Yeah, done.
Just fucking like, because they play obviously a shitload of games, but if they're playing on a Friday or something like that, if they play somewhere,
I'd
we'll
love
go.
to, but
we'll
Ricky,
go.
Ricky punted me from Para.
Gives a fuck. Time heals everything.
Yeah, I don't give
He'll
a
just
shit.
fucking rip you with a fucking
I don't give
uppercut.
it- I'd
You're like-
love to, but
he
I
loves
don't-
you, mate.
I
He
don't-
fucking loves you. Trust me.
I don't think.
He did punt you, but I forget. He probably forgets.
Here we go.
Yeah.
When are the fucking Raiders playing? We'll go.
20th of June next week. They'll play. It's at Campbelltown.
No, fuck that. We need Allianz.
They play.
They playing the Chooks at it or like
I'm trying to
I
find a
don't
close
know.
game.
Power Stadium or something. I don't know.
They play Eels at Canberra.
No, we're not going to Canberra.
No, because they've got a very home back end. It'll be Panthers in August. Is the closest
But that's
one.
a CONT.
Combank.
That's all right. We'll try and do something. Stick.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah. Wholesome fuck.
Yeah,
I'd
because
love to.
Loves it, mate. Loves his show.
Oh, awesome.
3 o'clock in the night. Fuck, that'd be cold.
We're not going to Canberra.
Unless we do a snow trip as well.
Straight through to Threadbow.
Yeah, Threadbow as well. Get on the slopes.
Shit.
Red Bull.
Fucking straight down with the Red Bull. Red Bull can sponsor us.
The Rabbitohs. They're the opposite of the Raiders. They don't really have that second wave that comes off the bench. So the Raiders have a really good bench. I thought it was on radio then. I saw,
because I
thought I made a mistake.
Back to the Raiders bench, right? You got like Mariota and Sasangi and that. They come on and they make a difference. That's the beauty of that's where I look at teams. I'm like, you've got to be deep. You've got to be 21 deep.
Yeah.
Right? To even win, to even look at winning the comp. You can't just be like 14 players are mad. Like look at Melbourne. Look at even the Dogs are up there with 21 players. We've got good.
I reckon 23.
Yeah. Raiders have got that.
Yeah.
Brisbane's got that. So you lose a big dog, you can go, okay, we can shuffle things around a little bit, right? And not lose that much.
Keon does so much for him once he starts to
So the Warriors, they lost fucking Barney. Massive loss. Everyone's got massive loss. It's like, Jackson Ford. Then the young brother comes on.
Jacob Laban and
Laban was fucking on fire.
They both played 80.
Yeah, he's a gun.
Yeah.
I told you that.
Yeah,
he's got
him.
skill, mate. He's big, long, rangy. He just needs to fight. I mean, he's still young. I think he's a real future proper back row for them.
Yeah, agreed.
Can sit there. I mean, Niokora that dude on the right. I know.
Yeah.
But like I think he'll gravitate to the middle in his later part of his years.
Yeah.
Into the middle.
There's a carry he took off the kickoff. I think it was in the McInnes. He looks hard as
hard to
nails,
hit, mate. Like a Steve Kearney sort of run, sort of build, man. Just a bit more athletic, right?
Yeah.
Mook's in his prime.
Mooks was silky, yeah.
He's good.
He had more of probably an offload.
Mad skills, yeah.
I reckon there's a tough conversation coming up with Cody Walker.
Yeah.
And I reckon it's similar to Shawnee Johnson last year. So
injury talking, or you talking?
When he plays, he's still silky, just like Shawnee was, but he's 36 next year. He played 21 games last year, and he's only been able to play 7 this year.
21's all right last year.
But 2 of those games this year, Mace, he's come off at the 60-minute mark. And I know they've got good cover. They've got Jamie Humphries coming through and Sullivan.
No.
But it just throws things out.
No. You need Cody for fucking... If he get 20, just at that
1
age,
year?
you get 20 games minimum a year, but the minutes you're talking about. We can't have you coming off like with these soft tissue injuries. Really, I'm not sure what he's little 1% is looking after his body and everything like. But it is fucking.
He looks in pretty good nick.
Yeah, you got to prioritize that shit like really a lot at 36, and there's no shortage of wellness centers.
What would you do?
Get down to elite recovery, mate.
What would you do? Yeah, shut up. What would you do, mate, with Cody Walker and Souths?
Oh, mate, I just want to get his body right. I'll be like, if I was Wayne, I'll be like, get your body right so we can have a bit of a run.
He's obviously Father Time's undefeated. It's the same thing we're talking about with Chaz.
It's that old man's injury.
That's an old man injury, right?
And they don't fuck around either. They're like 4 to 6s.
Well, I think he's gone from like hammy to groin to calf to, like it's just...
Everything's out of whack.
You get one thing right, but then you're weak in other positions, and that's what happens when you get older.
It could be a lower back injury.
Yeah.
Like it could be back injury, it could be neck injury that just goes all the way down and... Probably just needs. I mean, I know that he'd be doing a lot of recovery and shit and physios and that at the Rabbits, but I'll be going off campus, seeing a lot of different chiros and just connecting. Something's out of whack there. If you keep doing calf and groins and everything like that, so.
But the problem with our game, and it's not like the same as like NBA and NFL. When you go off campus, you go away from it. We've got so much wear and tear in our game. Like the physical demands of our game. It doesn't matter how well you treat yourself at that age later on in your career.
Just happens.
I feel like you're gonna re-aggravate it regardless. So maybe one more year. He's off contract at the end of the year.
We got one more year, and then he just has to reassess. And the beauty of today's game is Cody Walker would be still in high demand. Maybe not for the Rabbits,
Yeah.
but someone would love a Cody Walker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's a genuine 5'8", one of the greatest ball players of our generation.
But he's another guy similar to me with Alex Johnson, and Ren. When he, I want to see Cody Walker finish it.
Sean Johnson or Alex? Did you say?
Sorry, Alex Johnston.
Okay.
With his situation, Cody Walker. Yeah. I wanted to see that for Adam Reynolds. I love that SJ. He had the stint at the Cronulla Sharks, but finished at the Warriors. I hate it that Ches might potentially play for another team and finish his career. I would have loved to have seen him finish at Manly. They're just players that represent everything about the club. I feel like Cody's
and when you're talking life after football, which Cody should be really looking at now.
For sure, he'll get into...
where South, they will look after him, right? And he's embedded in that community and they love him, right? They love him. I couldn't see him in another jersey just for 1 year.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I think he'd probably take a club-friendly deal, right, and talk to Wayne and go, look, yeah, I want to stay, but I reckon I've got one left in me. I'll just do 1 year deals because I think he's, hopefully he's been smart with his money and he's got some things set up. He's got a family, he's embedded in that area. I couldn't see him going up north or anything like that. I couldn't see him anywhere but playing for South. And Wayne fucking loves him, and all he needs to do is get his body right.
Yeah.
That's it, because he's still got another couple of years left in him. But your best ability is availability. I always saying he hasn't been available, which makes people start questioning, and then these conversations start coming up.
Yeah,
which is fucked. But I just need him to. I love watching him play. I still think he's got another couple in him because he started late. I know he's 36, but it's only his 11th year in the game. But regardless of that, he's still the journey to get there. Right, he was, few Q Cup and in the system, and he still had a shitload of preseason. The wear and tear on the body, regardless of his age. Everyone says he debuted when he was 25. He still had fucking 5 preseasons. He was in the system, just because he didn't play first grade.
I think he's even part of the Melbourne Storm.
Yeah, he was. He was. Yeah, but I'm saying he was around, still training. Right, he just didn't get his break until 25, 26. The
reason I bring that up is because
Melbourne took fucking years off his career. Fucking hell. He did 2 preseasons down in Melbourne. That's his footy body's like 39.
Jaden Sullivan, he's been he's sort of on loan, so he's an option. Jamie Humphries started off the bench as well. I don't know if that was an injury concern for Humphries because he's back.
Yeah, I think massive cork. I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Big bite,
or maybe some hooker cover.
Yeah,
as well.
Jaden Sullivan, he showed glimpses. I think he's got talent, right? I think he could really thrive under the Wayne Bennett tutelage and the confidence that he can give a Jaden Sullivan. He's still he's still pretty raw, right, in the game, and he's reasonably young. So, him just sitting underneath Cody Walker for maybe another year would improve his game. You'd think Cody would be giving him a lot of knowledge.
For sure.
So that's a lot of those factors that Wayne knows how important that is.
First time in NRL history, an entire backline was of Indigenous background.
Fuck yeah. What for South?
For South.
How good is that? How good is that?
Whole way through.
That is good.
Isaiah Tass, Jack White and far out.
Shit. Yep. Who's the young fellow, the winger?
Tyron Munro.
Fuck, he looks good.
Mate,
Jeez, I want him to stay fit.
Hey, Tyron Munro.
I want him to stay fit. He looked good.
I was watching him. So we were so far away in the box, this little box in the corner where we were. When he took a carry and a kick return, and this is a credit to Latrell because how good a shape Latrell's in at the moment, I mistaken him for Latrell.
Same. That's what I was going to say. I thought that was Latrell.
So Tyron Munro is getting bigger and Latrell's in good shape.
Yep.
Because
win-win.
Yeah, it's a tick, big tick for both of them.
That's what I was just saying because I thought it was him. I thought Latrell was off the play too.
Yeah.
Coming out of that end.
Yeah.
And it was him.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, Latrell looks a little bit more ripped. Because he's tall.
Yeah.
He's big. I just want him, get your little fucking brown snake shoulders strong enough, mate. It'd be sweet.
Yeah, one more good preseason for Tyrone. Panthers 18 defeat the Tigers 14. This definitely had more meaning because of Jerome Taruva, obviously, and trying to get revenge whilst Panthers are showing signs of fatigue. You asked me on the way home when we were driving home, Mace, we're talking about this game, and it's just like everyone's out to get Penrith now.
Yeah, they're getting their
They're human. They're human.
Well, they pumped everybody for 4 or 5 years, right? Yeah. And you had no chance. It was just like you when you go into games, you play against dominant teams, you're like, fuck, I hope the Panthers are off. We might have a chance. Now it's like, we got a chance.
You need them to be off in years past just to be a chance.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Now it's like, no, we're fucking on.
Get 'em.
You're getting our best.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's why some of these games, Parramatta took him to the wire.
Yep.
Tigers took him to the wire. You look at Isaiah Yeo and Martin and even not Cleary doesn't, but like these guys in the middle.
Cleary looks a bit.
No, I know, but not as fucking much as Isaiah Yeo looks 40.
Yeah.
He's just like, and Liam Martin, they're still playing some real fucking high level football, right?
Yeah.
But it's tough, right? It just doesn't look as easy. There's no real clean line breaks. You know what I mean? Like,
I reckon
it's
Yowie
just-
and Martin are saving their best for Origin.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I think they are. And then hopefully they can jag some games through Origin. They're only 1 point out of the 8.
I know.
Then, okay, let's give everything to this last little fucking hurrah, right? And then
Am I going to get egg on my face for Panthers not making the 8?
same. I called them out too.
Did you? Yeah,
fucking
you,
hell.
yeah.
On Channel 7. They're not making the 8.
We're in this together then. Let's go.
So, yeah.
No, man.
Yeah, I just think, they come back to the pack. The Tigers were good, but Panthers, they were. It just looks like everything's like fucking
Hard.
It's nowhere near as easy for them.
Yeah.
Just everything's hard, like.
You know
still
he's having a
make-
good season? Isaiah Papalii.
Yeah, he's their best. He's their best forward.
Yeah.
I mean,
I-
him and Leota.
I think Isaiah Papalii could be playing that well through the middle, like Keon Kolomantangi, where the way the game's going, that could be his.
He looks different. I didn't like sometimes at the start when he cut his hair and he's trimmed down about 5 kilo. Who the fuck is this guy?
That's funny you say that.
He just looks way, I don't know, like well balanced and like
I reckon haircuts make a huge difference.
big time.
I've got an update on the Queensland captaincy.
Oh,
Should I hold it and you guys finish the segment?
Is the team out?
The captain's definitely out.
yeah.
and
If the captain's out,
I'll hold it. You guys keep going.
All right.
no, go.
Munster.
Carrigan.
Munster.
Yes, money.
Yeah, boy. Good. That's exactly what I thought. You fucking knew that.
No, I didn't.
You are looking at me like that.
Hey, what did I say?
No, I'm looking at your reaction.
What did I say off the back of Billy yesterday? On
Yeah.
100%
Lukey
footy?
caught it. Lukey caught it through the what was the language
Just the
that he
language
used?
that he used. We've got a lot of experienced captains out there. And
But
then
we've
he's
got also leaders.
Got also leaders.
Yeah.
I just made that shit up in my head because I just know what Billy's like and how important that man is to Queensland. He needs fucking captain, man of the match performance to get him out of fucking this shit.
I'll see if
Otherwise,
that
he's done.
leads to. They haven't updated the numbers. Let me just go on
What are
the
they fucking doing, Queensland? They usually named it on Monday yesterday. They go, no, so couldn't. King's birthday. I couldn't name the side.
Money, that's huge.
It's fucking great. Proud of you, mate.
Sure.
Well done. Well done. Congrats to Money on the captaincy, mate. Very special.
What about you, mate? 2 best mates, 2 Queensland captains.
Yeah,
mate.
It's conflicted.
Because I was going to get off the Queensland bandwagon because they brushed Jazz, but now I've got to stick with money.
No, you got to stick it.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
I need to get this blue shit off me.
No updates on the
Actual squad. It'd be very interesting. I just want to see.
Oh, actually, confirmed Kurt Mann will make his Origin debut.
There you go. All right, so no
Good on
Ezra. Let's just quickly, a huge tackle, and I want to give him highlight him as well because he's been under the pump of recently, or he's at least been talked about heading over to the Super League. Man, there's got to be a place for Scott Sorensen
Shit,
still
yeah.
over here in the NRL. He's only 32. I checked.
Fucking that tackle was
Buller.
ridiculous.
Yeah, that was the game.
Other side of the ruck.
Championship mindset. Reports he may end up in the Super League. I was looking at the team, and I know they just signed KPP, but he would go really well as a veteran presence at the Tigers with Jerome. He was Jerome's guy for 2 years on the left
Beautiful.
edge post Viliami Kickout.
Yep.
I love Samuela Fainu,
Then you, yeah, that's the problem.
but Scotty Sorensen just, he's almost like Capewell was a couple of years ago for, I know Capewell's been a vet, like Capewell is at the Warriors right now.
Yeah, it is.
Championship DNA.
Yeah.
A rep player, plays for the Kiwis.
Sorensen could easily fit there. He's just been really hampered with injuries the last year.
Yeah, the hamstring.
Yeah,
Back end of
hamstrings
last
and
year.
just like a lot of soft tissue injuries. So hopefully he's at the end of that now and getting back to some of his best football. But that's a good shout.
Or even like the Knights, because the Knights are losing KPP.
Yeah, but he's still you got
Dylan Lucas on the
that
left.
left. You can put him right.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Definitely, I would definitely use him because he's been involved in 3 grand finals there.
He shouldn't go to the Super League.
No, unless he just wants to.
Yep.
Unless you get to that age, 32, 33, he could get a 3-year deal over
Yep.
there.
Yep.
Depends who comes to the party here. He could play there's a number of teams that could use a Sorensen.
Yep.
Like
Or a veteran presence
work,
at the
work,
new Perth.
the work ethic, the winning mentality, because a lot of teams right now are trying to obviously like rip the soul out of like Penrith because we want to know what they've been training like, what their DNA is, the culture that they're going to set, pass it on to these younger kids. This is how we do things, like Fish is doing over in the Warriors, like Critter's doing with the Bulldogs. You know, Luai's trying to do with the Tigers.
Club-friendly deal at Penrith for 1 more year and then go to Perth for 2 or 3 years with Mel and be one of the veteran presence like the Jesse Bromwiches and the Kenny Bromwiches at the Dolphins.
There's a lot of footy in him.
Yeah. That's why I like him. I like Sorensen as a player.
Yeah.
The Tigers, Rome said after the game that this one is just another game. He wanted it. He wanted it bad.
Probably played his best game all year.
Fuck, he killed it. He nailed Nath a couple of times.
Smacked him. He's seen that 100 times with training. Left on rights.
He knew the
left
calls.
on right.
He knew the call for sure. He knew the mannerisms of Mitch Kenny. He knew the mannerisms of Isaiah Yeo. He covered Brian Dotto a couple of times, even though he came off second best.
Bob Bizzick hit him with the...
He wanted it bad.
He was off balance. No, I love that. And it was a fair game and he wasn't a fuck. He had a crack. He had a crack at the youngins, which you do.
Yeah.
Which you do.
Because they're under the pump.
Blaze Talangi and that.
Casey McLean. He's been in and out of the lineup.
You're ruining the joint.
Yeah.
Something like that.
You fucking let another try,
What are
rookie.
you doing, you lemon?
Yeah. That's my edge. Fucking rookie.
Hell. Never let any tries down that edge.
Didn't let any in on the right too. Their left edge.
He was good, man. I thought he was
get
really
enough
good.
credit for his defensive, the way he slides defensively, and
his reads, mate, are good.
Mate, think about it right now. As good as we love, as much as we love Nath, the problematic side for Penrith has been their right edge for the last couple of years. Jerome leaves, everyone has Joy down their left edge now. Yeah. That's where they score all the tries. Yeah. Jerome's left edge has been really good at the Tigers. Yeah. Milky fucking Jenkins is scoring on the other side of the field. He's a really good defender. He must have really good comms.
He's a good communicator with his right fore, and then it just goes out and out. So he's. I thought I was happy for him. It was a game where he could just go, I fucking give everything. I give everything. They know I'm the dude still. So it's like it was nothing but respect. You could see it. I love that.
You know what Jimmy Dimmick taught me really early on when I was in the under-20s, and it really stuck with me, and I use it as a weapon, and I reckon Jerome does it as well, talking people out of coming your edge. So, like, if you can be loud enough where you're talking
got out the back.
It serves your edge well, and it also sometimes just it spooks the edge that it's attacking you to just back away a little bit. Jimmy told me earlier, and he goes, look, you've got really good communication on your defensive line, but use it as a weapon against
even at marker. Yeah. Talk your way through. Just fucking do that all the time.
Try to bluff them.
Yeah. Make them play early so you can just go, you make them play early and then you just sort of go, oh, yes, got him. Gotcha. But I was going to say with...
Latu off the bench or Samuela? You said last night you loved one of the Fionas.
Yeah. He looks like...
That was Samuela's best game too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easily.
He's been banged up this year as well, I think.
Because remember we went through the teams, the amount of injuries and then like people starting and then the benchies and then a couple of rookies and debuts. And I'm like, they might get pumped here. That's the best. I don't think that's the best the Tigers have looked all year. Even though they got beat, they played fucking outstanding.
Well, you know what's disappointing? Royce Hunt was playing Reggie's against your Bulldogs on Monday. So
fucking destroyed us.
Where are we? So he's got to get back in the team. Samuela punched out 73. So he's been struggling for minutes, even when he's playing. He got their player of the year last year.
Yeah.
Not rookie of the year.
I know. It's weird. Has he been injured or has he just been out of form?
Injured.
Yeah, that's
injured. And they didn't even get Kit Lower Lily on the field as well. So
that sucks. But it was a good game. That was an entertaining game.
It was so good. It was so good. It was similar. It felt like the Eels game from the week before, where it's like
another hard game for the Panthers. Everything just seems hard.
The Bulldogs defeated the Eels. Now I haven't had my notes from this game because we don't need to. We watched it. It's so fresh. Start off with the Bulldogs. Obviously, Lockie Galvin steals the show at the back end. It was a 12-all game, going into that. Yeah. Lockie comes on, plays. I know he was at first receiver, just squared up the.
Do you think they looked like different when he come on?
Yeah.
It just looked like a clear...
I'll ask Lukey, because we're both within the game. I could see the things that work for Lockie. Could you see it?
Yeah, no, I can't. I think could have been I was listening to Braith talking about it during the week about Toby Sexton and how he doesn't go into the line as much. Yeah. That was fresh in my mind. And then watching Galvin come in, just the way that he plays the ball, it just
really
made him big
square,
difference.
Right? Really square, but he gets it really wide as well. So, like, he loves getting the ball wide. He plays and then he squares up. So, like, see that lick that he copped, bang, that's from digging into the line.
Yeah.
Right? No one, that's where most halves don't like that, because if you do, you get hit like that. But he's willing to take those hits. Kid's 19 years old, weighs 84 kilos and is 6'4". Right? So there's a lot of real estate to hit. He's got a skill set which is massive. He's always on ball. He's just got a lot of energy. And, like if he thought that he made the wrong decision leaving the Tigers, when they said fucking Lockie Galvin's on, and you had 55,000 Bulldogs fans screaming and going, Galvin, Galvin. Fuck, that would have been one of the best moments of his life. And then scoring that try, and they've just added something different, right?
Against his childhood team.
Yeah, Marnie coming off, Sexton just being at 9, and I was wondering how they were going to figure that out. I didn't know what they were going to do.
Toby Sexton said it with Fox after the game that they didn't plan it.
They didn't know what. They were just going to play what they thought, because Reedy was out there for 50, 60 minutes in the middle.
I'll tell you exactly, 57, because when Lockie Galvin was about to enter the field with the jersey number 23, there was 23 minutes to go.
Right.
And I said,
how good's that?
I said, is Serrato done this on purpose with the 23-minute mark?
He's a numerologist. But because I was speaking to Ciro before the game, he goes, no real plan, we'll just see what happens. And it just worked out like that. His upside is massive. We just looked better, like, where both sides of the ruck are dangerous. When I said this a couple of weeks ago, like, there's going to be two different edges. When Presto comes back and helps him out defensively, the middles come back all after Origin and everything like that, and we're all one unit. It's going to be a decent side. We'll make a bit of a run.
The part that I love the most about the game and the try, he tacks down the short side. They have a bit of joy. He's floating in and around because it looks like there's going to be some joy there. Then all of a sudden, it looks like they've wrapped him up. Kraz comes up with a late offload. He's running back talking about the next play.
Yeah.
Then he realises, oh shit, there could be some joy here. So rather than waiting for the next play, gets on his bike, short tip on off Curran and scores the try. That was the best part of the try.
And even
that he was actually talking to the other players about setting up what the next play is, and goes, fuck that. All right, we're on. Let's go.
So even like just saying, because I spoke to Ciro before and I said, I thought you weren't playing him. He goes, I wasn't. He goes, I genuinely thought he was going to play reserve grade. He goes, until we started doing drills, because the defensive system and everything like that, he was like, nah, he's not playing, like, because he wasn't up to his standard, right? So they brought him in on the Monday, right? And then ran him through some drills, and it was all on footage where, they were all doing these sort of stuff. And he's like, after that, he's like, nah, he's going to go for reserve grade. And that was when Ciro made that comment. He's going to go for reserve grade. Tuesday comes. Better. Wednesday. And then he goes, if he's doing this and if he keeps improving by Friday, when they announce that he's going to play, they gave him till Friday, and they're like, we're going to play him, because he picked everything up so fucking quick, right? He's not hitting like fucking Victor Radley or anything like that, but he got the whole, he can move, he can read it, like, and he's so quick on like anticipation, right? When you're going to lead running on your inside shoulder, and if he comes in, he can still bounce out. Do you know what I mean? So he was reading it like that. So like not many people can do that. They'll usually just come in and make the wrong read. Oh, my bad. He'd sort of go in and then straight on the back. So like he was doing little things like that for about 2 or 3 days. And then he goes, in attack, he was making our fucking first grade. Like he was on the other side.
Call some Wezzers.
Oh, heavy Wezzers. Just like over the top, short ball, scoring these tries. We're like, fuck, we've got to play him. And that's when they announced, I think it was on the Friday or Saturday.
Even he said he was, the plan was lock or centre.
Yeah, there's no way he's playing lock. He's 84 kilos.
Well, they were thinking that. They must have changed it because of.
They must have looked at when he had his shirt off.
To your point, to your point, mate. Yeah. Like there was maybe a plan, or if we are going to play him, but then he's killed it. So like Thursday, Friday must have just changed it
as a 7,
and they go, "Fuck, we got to get him."
As a genuine 7, because they didn't know, because they was like, "Oh, he's going to be Isaiah." Like Isaiah's been a forward his whole life, right? Just because he's 6'4" and he's sort of and Galvin's a little bit taller. Galvin's been a 7 and a 6 his whole life. You put that kid in the middle, you'll ruin his career.
And to clarify, the person was actually, I just thought of it, it was Joey talking about Flanagan on the Sunday Footy show about what he needs to do, straighten it up.
Yeah, that's what Flanagan does it. Flanagan doesn't do it that well, right? None of the halves do it that well. Katoa does it good as a great kid, as a great young kid, and this Galvin guy doesn't. And then the premier halves.
Clear easy.
Yeah, I don't even worry about those. There's just been embedded in them. But him.
But it's noticeable, like when you focus on it as like a fan that might not be dialed in like you guys. It's like
the Matty Burton intercept. That wasn't a fluke.
No, he reads that.
I reckon they've done some video on maybe the slow delivery or seen something because he fucking it felt like he got there even before Riley Smith had passed the ball.
Yeah.
So it's either 100% like it's
from video, like little cue. You know,
it must be something
because you don't just read it like that. It was so good.
He got there like right on time. Viliami kick out sin binning. I thought it was the right call.
I get it, and everyone was blowing up because obviously I'm sitting in the fucking chairman's lounge, right? And I said, let's clarify the rules here. Like, if you hit him up top on when he's kicking the ball, it's fine.
Yep.
If he's on one leg and you touch his leg and he's exposed and he's vulnerable,
100%.
It's 10. Because you don't want to. It's just say if Galvin kicked the ball, and like someone hits him on the leg, you'd be all blown up.
Yeah, Kalmatualangi hits him on the leg.
You just don't touch it. If he had to hit him up top, where the other night where Luai hit him, that fucked it. That was perfect.
That was perfect.
That should not have been penalised. Now it makes everyone shit themselves about the kick pressure again, right? Because it nearly changed the game. It sort of did. They ended up scoring.
Yeah, it did.
With
they kicked the penalty goal, and then 2 sets later they scored.
So it really changed the momentum of the game because they were on. So 10 minutes, you just can't touch the when you're on one leg and the kick is unbalanced, right? If you touch that leg and if he twists it and does his ACL, like that's the worst case scenario, right?
I've said it before. Mitchie has got the best recognition for footy IQ.
He's the fucking best.
He played it to a T and I keep going back to it. He's
hanging up there for 10 seconds.
Yes. Sits up there.
Right.
That's why the fans are blowing up. That's why the fans are blowing up. But it was a sin bin, and Viliami Kiki shouldn't get any more than that. That's it. That's sufficient. He got his.
That's enough.
He got his spell. There wasn't a crazy amount in it, but for me, I believe it was a sin bin. Really, we talked a little bit about. So if you're just missing out on the Parramatta Eels, I thought they were brave. Actually, here's this. We talked about this after the game. I've never seen this before. The Bulldogs ran, so a great indicator, we talked about the metres per set and all that sort of stuff. If you run for 1,800 metres, you're normally a good chance of winning the game. The Bulldogs ran for 2,284 metres. Parramatta Eels ran for 1,329.
We only had like 8 tackles in there.
Don't make excuses up, Lukey.
That is
fucking pumped. Dominance.
Nearly 1,000 meters, and check this out. This is when I was like, "Fuck, that's weird." Because I was looking at the stats after the game with the meters. Connor Tracy 240, Carraz 216, Marcelo Montoya 207, Max King 229, Harry Hayes off the Pine 228.
Harry.
Or 288. 5 players ran for over 200 metres. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
No, that's big. And then everyone, how many?
And Parra were hanging in 12-0 until when? 23 minutes in the game. Lachlan Galvin enters. They were hanging in there despite just being dominated for so long.
Kept dropping the ball and
in crucial positions too, Lukey. Like, I mean, coming out of yardage and like, I think Fox dropped one and I think a couple.
Jermaine Hopgood had a
Hopper.
Lomax dropped one.
Hopgood had a killer.
Lomax,
when he rushed out.
It was just a couple of little things that they
That was this quick 6 again. They catch it. Lomax is running around. He's just deciding whether to tip on to Fox or not.
Yeah. Little things like that. And they're little things like big momentum changes, right?
Heavy.
And we're just like methodical with the Bulldogs.
Sucking the life out of
They just want to strangle you like an anaconda, just fucking slowly.
But then we'd D up a set, we'd hit a short field goal, or short dropout, and we'd win that back. And then we'd think, we're out, and then we're not. It's like we're getting strangled.
And that's that's exactly what the Bulldogs want to do to all teams, just strangle them, right, into submission. And then they end up getting it. And they end up scoring a couple of late tries that really disrespect the scoreboard because it wasn't a
Didn't reflect
it. Yep. And I was just like, it was a real good game. That's why the crowd loved it and everyone loved it because and even Parra supporters would be going, that was fair. We just don't have the quality, right? And then to start buying quality in 2 years, we have this conversation when hopefully these two teams are dominant. That'll be fucking 80,000 out there.
Eels have the bye, and then we've got Titans and then the Dragons. So there could be 6 points potentially.
Easy. You can go say 6 points.
Easy white chocolate. Easy white chocolate.
Isaiah Yongi, I watched him closely. Bulldogs could have won by 40.
Yeah, he was there.
He was everywhere. He's a gun.
He'd be sore today. He'd be sore. He's still in an ice bath, apparently.
Someone threw out another comp for him. You know, we compared him to Roger.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Who?
Kevin Locke.
No, Nobby's better than Nobby. I love Nobby too. Nobby's gun during the prime. Nobby was
different builds.
Carmichael. His toughness, kick returns, little hop and a skip. Got a bit of Carmichael about him.
Yeah.
And Carmichael, and
gun, man.
This was the rap that everyone had on Carmichael. Young age was not bullying, telling all the forwards where to be.
Yeah.
Yongi, the attack for fans watching, defensively, he is a gun.
All right.
Watch him closely. Sometimes you've got to be at the stadium to see it.
No, I was, but I just didn't really notice him because you're on the ball.
You're watching Bulldogs probably as well. Yeah, fair.
Nah, Carmichael's a good tape.
Carmichael.
Because he remember Carmichael when he first hit the scene, I remember he was just mad stepper and all that sort of shit. And then he just went, fuck this, I'm not stepping.
Bullshit.
I'm just coming straight back. Remember Frankie Pritchard got him?
Yeah, God. That was the Kiwis Australia.
Yeah, I know, I played because guess what? Guess what?
I love it when I can tell a story and you go, I know. Play it.
Guess what? Because when he caught the ball, guess who was supposed to take the kickoff? And it was a dropout. Yeah. And he goes, nah, fuck it. He dummied to me.
Yeah.
And he went, I went, oh, well, told you should have passed it. Frankie P hit him.
Special K. He was special K.
Oh, yeah. He just fucking got pumped.
We'll have Fozzie on this week. Is that right?
Yep.
So little silver lining on Ches missing Origin. He gets to play against Fozzie this weekend.
Oh, there we go. We'll ask him about that. I'm going to ask Fozzie too. Get us a question. If you've got any questions for Foz, I'm chatting to him tomorrow afternoon. But I want us to say, I want to ask him about Origin, like what changes he would make, how good the Blues were, and then we'll go from there. But another big episode. Shit, I think that's 3 hours of the best again.
We'll
see you on Thursday for a preview.